um, something stupid that I didn't do, but I've got audio now. So what's new with everybody?
Steve from Florida came on the line to say hi to you, Frank.
Kevin, Kevin, what do you got, a monkey in there?
What?
What do you got, a monkey in there?
No, why?
Oh, it sounded like it. I thought it was you. It sounded like one of those little spider monkeys. So I'm glad to see everyone's here. Early at that.
What's been going on with Mike Mason?
Why, what's up?
He didn't host his call yesterday.
He might not have been feeling well. Mike's going through some troubling things right now. His health isn't that well. He's been hit for so long, they've done a lot of stuff to him. But he said that he had mesothelioma on the lining of his, oh God, chest cavity. Not the lungs, chest cavity. So I don't know how that got there.
Frank, can you hear me?
Barely. You need to turn up just a little bit.
Um, I wanted to ask Steve from Florida if he's been on the Florida calls.
Yes.
And are you, is it growing, the number of Floridians?
No, actually, I think Sue was getting a little discouraged. We didn't even have a call on Tuesday night, and she has changed it from talk shoe to free conference call, and is going to start, I think, March 7th, and then go every 2 weeks thereafter.
Yeah, that's a good way to get going.
Yeah, it's anything to start, Frank, eh?
Yeah, that's what I did, I think. It didn't take so long too long though, because I really know a lot of people. But yeah, she'll do fine.
Yeah, no doubt.
If
No
so,
doubt. Had some really good meetings in front of this lecture that this General Hayden is doing next Tuesday at the Jacksonville University.
yeah, okay,
Should be interesting.
yeah. Last time I talked to what's his name, Reginald, I believe that's his
Reginald
name.
Reggie or Brian?
Yeah, and yeah, Cologne, right? Is his last name?
Yeah, Edwardo Colon.
Yeah, we had him. Well, I think the two of them on a call about a week ago, and he was supposed to get back to me. I offered him, whatever nights he wanted, all the way up until and including the day of the call. But he apparently somebody called Ella and referred him over there, and it happened to be her night the next night. So I think he grabbed it. So as long as the word gets out, that's what's important.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to try to Facebook live stream it, I guess
Yeah,
it's called.
right.
And then we're also going to try to do audio through the Brian's talk shoe. We're going to call into the number so we can see what we might be able to get recorded, particularly if we're offered any kind of question and answer session. That would be ideal, but
Well, you
kind
can
of a pie in the sky.
you can live stream through YouTube. You knew that, right?
I'm sure they do, Frank. I'm not one of the ones that's more tech savvy.
You might look there, and I'll tell you why. Google is very good about quality. If you send a video up to them and it's all garbled and crackled and all screwed up, it comes out like studio quality. So I'd seriously consider doing that.
Okay, yeah, we have so many uncertainties. We're not even sure what the seating arrangement's going to be, what the capacity of the crowd is, whether or not there's going to be question and answers. We do have a scope of the landscape up there. Reggie's actually visited,
Yeah.
and he is going to go to the site on Monday to peek in the door to see if he can see what kind of a chair setup they have.
Yeah.
They may not even let us take cameras in there and stuff. We just don't know yet, but we're certainly going to be prepared.
Yeah, you need to have somebody with a stationary camera, phone, or a camera, video cam, so that you can actually, zoom right in on. Oops, I got a call here. Oop, can't take that one. Oh no, that's my web advisor. Okay, yeah, so that something stationary, because at the gathering in Massachusetts, that was the only problem. We didn't have one stationary video device in front of all the speakers, and that became a problem. So, yeah, I'd advise you to get a stand. I think they have stands for iPhones, or you could make one probably pretty easy out of a selfie handle or something like that. I don't know. But you need something stationary. That's good.
Yeah, we can certainly try to make sure we have something available. Like I said, they may not allow it. This general's had quite the time and service in the United States Air Force, NSA, CIA.
Oh yeah.
And was instrumental in the FISA court and a lot of things, particularly in the Bush and Obama era. So I'm sure he's tuned into what's going on in the common day life of our lives.
Yeah, he's tuned in a little too well. So
yeah, and Jacksonville's quite the military town as well, and
yeah,
I'm sure they're going to have pretty good security there, particularly being on a college campus.
Well, he has Secret Service running with him all the time for all the days of his life, so be ready for them too. I've dealt with Secret Service, and they're pretty nice people. You just treat them right, they'll treat you right.
Right.
If they have any dogs, let them sniff all your stuff, like your backpack or something like that, just so that everybody feels comfortable with you. And
right.
If you go to back away from the dog or the Secret Service, they'll bag you right there and just take you out of there. They don't ask any questions.
Right.
They just act. So with that in mind, all you have to do is just be laid back. That's all. You probably will be anyway.
Yeah.
But that guy's been principally involved, from what someone else in military high up has told me, that he's been very instrumental on some of the things that might be happening to us. But we'll see what he has to say anyway. Do you have his program or his agenda for the conference?
No, we don't. Reggie was going to do some more digging to see if they had anything on the college website about it. I looked myself. I didn't see anything. I don't know if he's just the keynote speaker or if he's the only one, or I think he is, because I think he's touting a new book. Evidently, he came out with a book before, and now he's about to come out with his second book, which would be interesting to read, only to understand and know the interesting man a little better, maybe.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one. I don't know. Just be real careful. That's all.
Yeah, we seem to have a pretty good group going. Blessed to have a very professional group.
Good.
We don't plan on grouping up before the event. We plan on going in nonchalantly, maybe in pairs, and trying to sit separately, not knowing how they're going to do question and answers. If they do, if they line them up or just take hands out of the audience, I don't know. But then afterwards, the T-shirts come out, the T-shirts go on, the flyers come out, and then we're back in,
Back in gear.
So,
that's when you want to watch out a little. I've got Kevin from the chat. He was hoping that a fresh start bill could be passed for, TI students in colleges. But something like that, when it applies to the overall community, it will apply to the colleges. So
right.
Good evening, Barbara. But yeah, it should be great. I'm glad somebody's live streaming it. Please, when you find out, let me know so that I can pass it along. And
Okay.
I might choose to live stream that from there. And
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I came in late. Sorry.
We're talking about the general's interview, or actually his speech, down in North Florida University.
Oh yeah, what was all that about?
Oh, we're just talking. I was talking about security that they're going to have. They're going to have Secret Service all over the guy and all over the crowd. And they're going to have, it's going to be pretty tight probably.
What is this? Is this in Florida, you said?
Yeah, North Florida.
For what?
Michael, what's his name? Michael General, and I can't think of his last name.
General Mike Hayden.
Hayden, that's it, yeah.
Retired Air Force, spent time in NSA and CIA.
He's
head of those two.
He's going to speak there, and he's promoting a new book. So that's probably going to be some of his primary agenda. And what that agenda is, I'm going to try on my own to grab it tomorrow, or maybe even tonight. And
what, the book?
No, the agenda for the speech, so that they will be better prepared to know when they are going to be able to do their questions, so that they can be ready. And I was also explaining that they should have a webcam or an iPhone or something that is stationary, either Velcroed to, somebody's hat, if you will, something like that would work. But then naturally, of course, that person would have to be pretty stationary himself.
I forgot all about this.
Yeah, it should be great. Make sure you get in touch with me so I can live stream it.
Now, when is this going to occur?
I think it's the 27th.
Yeah.
So,
Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, but that Facebook live stream, you actually sign into Facebook live stream, and people can actually go there and click in.
Yes, they can.
If they're not shared the link on whoever Facebook is broadcasting it, right?
You're correct. You're absolutely correct on that. And
then the more you share it, other people can share it.
right, exactly. And that's what I plan on doing. That's why I need to know specifically. I'll share it on my website streaming. I will share it everywhere. I do mean
Cool.
everywhere. We'll make
Yeah,
it.
cool.
We'll make it quite an event.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and I'll share it to all the groups, all the TI groups that are on.
Have they written up any questions yet?
No, that's
Yeah,
what,
we spent a whole 3 hours going over questions. So we actually have a narrative for questions by priority. In the event that we only have one question, well, we've got that one question picked out and several people available to put their hand up hoping to get called. So I think we have a fairly good setup, well thought through.
you need a spokesperson to possibly approach the general before the meeting, and not the general so much, but his staff person, his publicity person, and just ask him if you can be chosen for questions, because many times people that are actually picked, it's predestined, if you will. They already
Right.
have them all written up.
They probably would want to review the question.
Yeah, they might give.
Probably.
I've been given numbers before, so they may give you a number to hold.
So give them a fake question you're going to ask and then slip in the real one you want.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've got questions about Cuba and FISA and just everything.
Well, that's
We've
great.
got and we've tried to group some of the questions to where it's so open-ended and it captures keywords for us and then actually captures events that can actually, true events that have occurred, like Cuba, supposedly. Staying close to quotes and things like that, can be factual checked.
You know what I would ask them?
You go for it.
I would ask him, I'm on a program. I'm being hit with directed energy weapons by drive-bys. We know this program exists. We know that it came into effect under your leadership of NSA.
Ooh, that's a no-no.
Why?
You are actually attacking.
An attack.
Them. That's an attack.
Yeah.
You have to try and get answers in a psychological manner.
Well, it didn't come into effect under him.
Well,
we are asking those questions and everything that you covered there, but in a very politically engineered way.
Yeah, Cuba is there. Excuse me. Okay. Caller 2, when you repair your audio, you can unmute yourself by hitting *6. What I was going to say is Cuba opens the door to those type of attacks. So
yeah, but if you just ask about Cuba, he can cut you off, and that can be just your question, right?
Well, if you ask what you said, they will cut you in half and cut you off. You can't attack a speaker.
Well, I didn't consider it an attack. He is head of NSA. He did start this program. There's no attack there. It's a fact.
Well, you can't. I'm just going to say that that's not the.
I don't get it.
You can't be point blank with him. You have to field your questions very logically and incrementally towards the topic that you want to get to. And he might bring you there himself if you're lucky.
Yeah. I think you're whistling in the wind. I think you got to hit him right between the eyes and say, hey, listen, we know what you're doing. We want you to stop it.
You'll get thrown out.
So,
Security will be on you, and you'll be out of there.
well, at least I get my question out.
Yeah, but you demonstrated further that TIs are argumentative, which is we want to demonstrate that we are as normal and as well balanced as, I don't know. It's a relative term to compare, but as well, we'll just say.
I don't believe you should pussyfoot around, and that's what you're asking. I think that you should come right out and make it short, focused, and to the point.
You can't.
It's not an attack. It's facts. And you can also preface what you're saying by saying that I read the Snowden files.
Now
This question is from your files.
Now you're bringing up somebody who they want to convict, who was a hero to us, but to the government, he is not a hero. So what you've done is you've opened up a treasonous avenue, which you cannot do.
He's the treason. He's the one who's doing treason by selling all our data to anybody who's got the money to pay for it. That's what he's doing. He's the treason.
Okay,
not Snowden.
We realize the facts, Barbara. We're just trying to come up with a psychological, political agenda and avenue. You okay there?
Frank, he's selling our data to a foreign country, foreign countries.
He might be those. All right, we're losing callers over this, and I don't want to lose any more. So I'm going to say let's move on and give the floor back. Go ahead, sir. Okay, I hope it wasn't him that left.
This is Stephen. I'm still here.
Okay, Stephen. I just wanted to give the floor back to you. And
we're really trying to hit a home run. We're going in, so prepped to being professional, all the way to dressed, soft-spoken, not debative, argumentative. Although our questions have the key points in them, and they will open eyebrows, if nothing else, to the audience, even if we don't get an answer. And quite frankly, he's not going to stand there and admit anything, but you never know what spirits can cause him to say. Who knows?
And to get back to your recording and your streaming, make sure that it's good so that we can, I will send it to Channel 5 in Boston. So, not that there won't be press there already, but I will send it there.
Gotcha. Cool.
So we'll give you all the coverage that we can give you, and we'll use all the avenues that we have.
Yeah, most definitely. We need an outside team as well. We need to know that the Facebook is streaming well.
Yeah.
Also, that when we call into the talk show, just for the recording purposes, I'm not sure how much conversation is going to be going, but depending on where the person is sitting that's assigned to call in, their audio may not be picking up. So we've got to be prepared to know that it's not working, have somebody else call in. I don't know. I'm sure we're forgetting some things, but there's been a lot of thought and a lot of discussion in preparation for this.
Yeah, video quality, you're like somebody watching so that they can say, okay, you need to go to the right a little bit, because all the smartphones look really good. Sometimes they're off when they interface with other devices. But yeah, that's
What's his
That's great.
speech about?
I think it's going to be prefaced on his new book.
What's the name of the book, you know?
No, it's a brand new book. I really don't know what the name of the book is, but that's not really important at this point. What is really important is our guys getting in the door, getting seated. And I understand there are a number of tickets that were still available, so I guess it's not a problem getting in. Don't be surprised if Secret Service, asks you a few questions, but I wouldn't worry about that. It's just a
Right.
little thing for the back of your head,
Right. Well, we all know that even based on the calls and everything in our own day-to-day lives, that I'm sure they know exactly who is coming from our group.
Yes, they do.
They know a lot about us. They know we're going to be there. They know if we're on some infamous watch list. So I mean, ironically, certainly unnecessary to be on any kind of a watch list.
Yeah, that's well, I have posted this many times in many places. If one man shot another or beat him and killed him, he would be in jail in less than an hour, okay, unless he concealed it. But if you have a TI who's being attacked on a daily basis, 24/7, this is murder in progress or attempted murder. So
Right.
it doesn't equate. What this weaponry is to me is an unregistered firearm. That's what this is to me. And it really is. It's worse than a firearm because they don't have to take aim. I mean, they're locked. So it's like a Saturday night special. And
Yeah.
they just lock it on somebody. But
Well, I think it's really interesting and wonderful what you're doing.
yes, it is.
I think going there and I just wish you luck. And I would handle it much different. I probably would get thrown out. You're right, but I don't care. How can you tell us what one of your questions would be?
Unfortunately, Reggie did not share the list, and I'm kind of hoping that comes forth very, very quickly to try to go on memory, because I think we ended up with 12 or 14 questions. It would be hard for me to. I know we've hit the entire array, including what Barbara was saying. I'm not sure if this is Barbara or not, but
Yes.
exactly all the things that you were saying, but in a very politically correct way. To point out various terminology that we use every day about, the attacks that we feel.
Why are you going to start with the question about Cuba, and why would you start there? Just curious.
No, actually, the Cuba question is not at the beginning. Although we've got time, we're all meeting at Reggie's house in Florida. And in Jacksonville, and that's where we're going to do our final planning, because Reggie would have been able to get down there and go to the event site on Monday and see how he can actually look in the windows of the door and see how the chairs are set up. He went down there a couple of weeks ago, and there are round tables and chairs in there, and I'm sure that's not how this is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a secured stage with just a lot of chairs. But I'm sorry, I can't. I'm exhausted. I'm an early bird person. I get up at 4 a.m, but I didn't take notes. But we all collaborated on the questions, and we hit the full gamma. Our key question, we're going to make sure that we pull in. We don't want to be too winded. We don't want to be too long, but we've got to be long enough to get out some of our targeted individual names, the terms that we use. So, people that Google them, they can actually see, remote neural monitoring and just keywords like that, which I'm not even sure is in the top question or not. But yeah, we've still got work to do, no doubt.
You know what I would ask first? I would say, I'm on this program that you developed. I know that's an attack and I don't care. Could you please tell me the name of it? I would want to know the name of the program we're on. I know that we are under the classification of terrorists, but do we have are we just considered terrorists, or are we under a different named program?
I don't think he would even answer that. He wouldn't answer that because, he would be admitting something, and he's actually sworn under oath that he will not talk about, national secrets, because he could be jailed for 2 years. I mean, if I knew that national secret, I'd just go ahead and be jailed and save thousands of people. But unfortunately, that's not who we're dealing with. I understand your point. We just don't want to lose an opportunity if we just have one question, that we just don't throw that one little dart out there that, we've got a very, very well-rounded number one top choice, because, quite frankly, we may get 0 questions. But if we have the opportunity for one, it's going to be the best one that the collaborated team has been able to agree on, just like a jury. I mean, we've all got to be in agreement. That's the way we've gone about this, give and take. But at least we've got such a good team that, everybody's open-minded and willing to listen, and we're just getting something done. So, I'm glad about that.
I wouldn't field, I wouldn't let your questions until you get there and you're seated and ready to issue these questions, render them to the general. I wouldn't tell anybody what they were, because that would give certain parties time to prepare for the question.
True.
Oh no, I'm not asking that. I'm just
No,
making.
I know you're not. I'm just saying, don't share it. This is just some ideas that I have. I wouldn't share those questions with anybody.
Listen, it's really funny you should bring this up. With Frank's permission, I wrote this flyer today, and it's specific to where I live because I'm getting the poop beat out of me, and I'm wondering if Frank will let me read it.
By all means.
Well, I wonder if now, who's the gentleman that's talking about going to Hayden's meeting? What's his name?
My name is Steven.
Steven. Maybe you could take something away, or maybe you could tell me if you would like to add something to this. I'm always open for suggestions. I'll read it very fast so I won't take up too much time. It starts off, to whom it may concern, with the date. I know the building is being pulsed, and so am I. Much worse than any of you. I want you to know that. They are the enemy, not me. I'll explain why. I live in a building and everybody's getting pulsed here. Everybody hates me. This is a global takeover by the intelligence agency, NSA, CIA. They are collecting all your data and selling it to the highest bidder, or whomever wants it for whatever reason. Revenge, pedophiles, rapists, voyeurs. Many targets have complained of being watched in the most intimate of moments by those with see-through-the-wall cameras. I'm also a veteran and have some military friends who disapprove of my treatment and what our government is doing. Do you know what is going on and why? This is a takeover by our intelligence agencies worldwide. It is also a depopulation program by the rich. Do you know what depopulation means? To be replaced by robots by the rich. You don't believe me? I barely believe it myself. This began after World War II when they brought over the Nazis. This is Nazi behavior, and if you want your children to grow up and live in a Nazi world, well, then join their side. I did nothing, said nothing to deserve this constant beating. No one does. Can I continue, Frank?
Yes, it's not. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. NSA collects data, all your data down to your penny. They already have your name and addresses and have checked your background. Then CIA acts on it. I'll suck off the NSA data, Fed, state, local, foreign. Those not of the NSA are called customers. Pentagon, local police, court system, and others are called customers. These organizations are committing high treason by selling your data to a foreign country. Israel. Everything that the NSA downloads goes to Israel. The UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and of course anyone in the US with enough money to buy into the game.
What's your
Israel
source?
gets,
What's your source?
the Snowden files.
Okay.
Israel gets all our data, a special relationship with the US. Did you know that the Palestinian Holocaust is being funded and pushed by the Christian evangelicals? They believe when Israel claims all its land back, Jesus will come, take them to heaven in body form, and we will all be left behind. They even published a series on this called Left Behind. They don't give a shit about you, and the Jews are going along with this program. Why? Because the Christians are sending them big bucks. This is what I'm trying to prevent, a totalitarian state takeover funded by the Koch brothers, billionaires, manipulated by Israel for the Christian evangelicals, and designed by General Michael Hayden, former head of NSA. I just heard that a couple of the Supreme Court justices will be replaced. Then they will have a stranglehold on the country like nothing else. I just wrote a memo to Elizabeth Warren, Mass Senator, to help me seek asylum in Russia, like Snowden in exile, and Dawson in exile, and like Assange, who is in house arrest in the UK. You can have Pence and Sessions and Trump. I think I would rather go with a democratic state rather than a religious totalitarian state for my descendants. I'm almost done, Frank. You want a totalitarian state? Well, then consider me enemy instead of them. I'm fighting for you and your children's freedom, and this will be a totalitarian chip followed everywhere, police state, no matter who you are, because I know what these weapons and these cutthroat people are capable of. General Michael Hayden designed it. They will kill your kids with a shooting at a school to force you to give up your guns. They gave that kid shooter meds that would make him aggressive and angry enough to kill, and they gave him the weapon as well. He was chosen by those in power because he was bullied and an outlier. All these shooters had the same gun. They were on psychotronic meds. The guilty people are the psychiatrists who gave him the drugs and whoever gave him the rifle, not NRA. We need to have an armed militia, and this is exactly what our forefathers were telling us about in that amendment, why we have to have the right to bear and keep arms. They were afraid of government. Our forefathers lived it, saw it, fought it, against it. King George, remember, the revolution against the UK. You see, the government will attack your kids and kill them because they want total control over you and everyone else in the US and globally, and they will kill your kids to get you to give up your weapons. More and more people are seeing what our intelligence agencies are doing, and they are finally after I have had 24 years of this shit listening to me. I've studied these assholes, and that's what they are, assholes. And if you're not targeted, get out of the country while you can or go underground. That is the only thing I can offer you because this is going to get much worse. You think you're controlled now? Just wait. This is a war, and whose side are you on is my question. Regards, Barbara Gillette. Now that I've read it, there are some things that I'm going to change about it.
Okay.
I don't like it, but it's some of it. Most of it I do like. Anyway, that's my flyer.
Well, that's very nice, Barbara.
Awesome.
You know,
I think the flyers we're using were provided by Neil. I'm not sure, from somebody's website, but we're armed and prepared with those. And then part of the team customized T-shirts for the event. So
That's nice. Maybe from Terry's site, Terry?
could be. Yeah, I may be mistaken.
I didn't know Neil had
If he
flyers.
hands out too much info on what he's doing, Barb, the whole thing's going to get perped. So, they should keep their dealings and where they're getting this and where they're getting that pretty much private, because you may not think so, but they're listening to all of these calls. And,
Well, this flyer is from the Snowden files. A lot of that information in there is from the Snowden files, and a lot of it is from personal experience. Like, if you're a target, if you're not a target, leave the country or go underground is my own feelings about. I wish
if you want to do that, Barb, go to the Russian embassy. You don't talk to the
I'm
UN.
gonna.
Go to the Russian embassy and say, I want asylum in your country.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You'll go right to Russia.
I wrote Elizabeth Warren today, and I told her what I was gonna do. I don't know if she'll get it, but
Yeah,
she
well,
usually does accept my email and read it, and she gets back to me with stuff. So, I don't bother her too much.
no, you're like an axe, and what they need is a scalpel. Yeah, they need a scalpel, not an axe. But yeah, I'm not saying any of your points are bad. I think they're all good points. You just have to be very, what's the word? Reserved.
Well,
No.
Susie Dawson came out with the treason, and I didn't even think of that. But she was saying how NSA has invaded her own country and has been responsible for meddling in their elections, and that NSA is selling New Zealand's data. And she came up with the idea that this is treasonous. How dare you sell away your country's information? And I know that all our data, now I've read this a couple of times before, and she brought it up when she was talking about it in the Snowden files, that the US has a very special relationship with Israel. And I know that all the data that's sent to the United States is also, all our data is sent to Israel. I think they're doing analysis over there.
Okay. If Stephen would like to speak,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's fine. I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. And the call is very young, and it'll start filling up here quite rapidly pretty soon.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out. That's about it.
That's very good. That's very good. And it's going to be a really classic event, and I hope that they get the chance to speak as they want to.
Do you remember Tyrone Dew?
Oh yeah, yeah,
The black kid?
yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Did you ever see the video where he approached and asked Hayden a question
No, I didn't. That's
on YouTube?
yeah, that was what, 16, something like that. Not 16.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I know it was a while back. I've got the wrong number, I think, but I did not see that.
Hayden blew him off.
Yeah.
He asked Hayden about the being targeted, something to do with targeted, and Hayden just blew him off. So.
I think it's probably the wrong word to use because that's coined. You need to use something different, like
Flagged,
no,
being a terrorist.
no, approach like you're a Cuban diplomat and you've been getting attacked. They did too. Since 2016, they've been attacked 40 or 50 times, and we're just hearing about it now. So,
Yeah, the Cubans don't want any Americans in Cuba.
well, that's not what I'm talking about. Seek asylum.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. This is Alex.
Hey,
How
Alex.
are you?
How you doing?
I was absent for 10 days. I didn't go. I was sick and still sick. But I'm listening what you're talking about. That guy Hagen, he is a fox. He's not going to answer, in my opinion, any questions which are going to be used against him or the agency, you know. But just to ask the question is, in my opinion, is an achievement. But expectation, in my opinion, are very low that it's going to solve any problems. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to try and keep a positive attitude, and I hope they have a positive attitude, and go through it. And as you say, look at it as an achievement in another area where we have appeared. So,
Yeah. If you give me a couple minutes, I would like to share
yes.
Something which I did. I'm relatively new to this movement,
Yes.
and everybody else like leaders of the TI community, like Derek and Neil and yourself, they did a very good job in collecting the information. And for other people to learn, like me, I learned a lot about this from these sites. But in my opinion, the wagon is still there, didn't move far. I would have a suggestion to make a new approach to the movement. I would call it AAA approach, aggressive, attacking activities, because people who are doing this and they don't have anything fighting back, the best defense, everybody knows, is an attack. So I just want to share my experience, what I did, what I learned, not everything. I have something important which I'm not going to say, and which are the perps should shake in their boots. They should go to Texas and buy special cowboy boots because they're going to shake it. I'm not going to tell about this. I'm going to say something of my experience, what I did. First, I make a file, and everybody should probably have this. And I have minimum 3 copies of each file. What's in the file? I wrote my TI biography, when it started, how I remember, what they doing, how they stalking, the noises, the psycho harassment, the body torturing. That's in my TI biography. And the other thing I did, I wrote to Life Insurance Commissioner to see if anybody took a life insurance on myself, on my name, a fraudulent life insurance. The other thing I did is I wrote Freedom of Information, NSA and FBI. There are forms on the internet, which is very easy. They have it like by email, by fax, and by mail. So I think everybody should have this and their file. Then I wrote letters, first to local law enforcement, police, emails also, senators, to congressmen, to Supreme Court, to Attorney General locally. Everything was in my file is certified mail. Then the same thing I did with the federal. I wrote to the Attorney General and to the President. I don't know if he got it. I doubt it. But and Supreme Court. And I still want to send a letter to the committee, Nunes and Schiff, which is now in charge in releasing that memo. I think everybody should write them a letter. Then I have evidence collection from food robots who stalked me, the names, pictures, phone harassment, videos, which I have of a lot of them. And then we should have in our file medical evidence, if it's possible, from independent doctors, second opinions, tests. Then we have to write to in the letter to the FBI and the NSA, I wrote that they failed to protect us, which is their duty, and how they allowed criminals to have these invisible silent weapons. And they don't want to realize, or they didn't realize it yet, that give it time, and weapons like guns and machine guns are not going to be an issue anymore, because if this public goes going to get their hands on these weapons, then forget about it. Everybody will be killed, most of the people, because there's no proof. And this technology is going, more and more people have an access to this, especially right now, people with money. But soon enough, it's going to be people, with average people, because somebody is going to sell out the technology. The other thing we should do, in my opinion, write letters to student faculties, journalistic faculties, writer faculties, who make documentaries, and send it to them and ask them to be, because students are very active and they still are more likely than people who work for money or for somebody. They have more freedom. So when somebody says that criticize the country, this is wrong. This is not about the country. This is about bad apples and NSA and CIA and FBI, which are supported by somebody in the government, and they are the ones who are to blame, not the country. This country is one of the best countries in the world. And to the good apples in the FBI and NSA, I want them to know, if they know about it and they don't do anything about it, they are as guilty as these monsters. And when it comes to judgment, they will be guilty of murder, the same thing. I want to say that Greeks have a saying that history is a magistra vita, which means teacher of life. And history is moved by great individuals and bad individuals on both sides. Individuals like Copernicus, Galileo, and other great people, who, by the way, were killed by church. They claim that they are the authority, they are the middleman between God and people, In the meantime, they own the church. Catholic Church owns more real estate than anybody else in the world. And I don't think they need the middleman. So, but on the bad side of the history, people like Hitler, Ivan the Terrible, and Saddam Hussein, they did their own bad impact. But they're already there. But when they were alive, they didn't know, or they refused to know, like these perps who are attacking us. They refuse to admit they know they're going to hell, and they just refuse to do it. And I want to ask them to think it over, because there is no way for them to escape the consequences for them and their families, and come over to our side. Then in this case, if they come over and help us, they will be coming back to human society. Right now, they're on the side of the devil, and the devil is very happy with them, having them. Another thing I want to say about freedom of speech with the journalists, which they are the ones who can solve this problem very easily and very fast. But freedom of speech, they don't realize that it's not the freedom of treason, because some stuff they show on TV and they talk about it. Who needs a spy? They telling everything. For the foreign countries, they don't make it easy for the spies. And freedom of speech is not to serve corporations, interest of corporations. And freedom of speech is not the freedom of lies and deception and misinformation. I think, in my opinion, that freedom of speech amendment of the law should be regulated. So that's basically, I have some more things that I want to share, but not now. So I just shared what I thought. I have everybody should have a file in case that class action lawsuits, which I don't believe it's really for real. I try to register, and I have 2 fake responses that I'm registered, but I know it's fake. So I don't give a lot of hope for that class action lawsuits. But when we have a file and you don't have money, you can, in my opinion, and I want somebody to correct me, we can file a lawsuit on our own, and having this evidence, and all we need is one person to succeed. And if somebody has a lot of evidence, we can share resources behind that person. And that's mostly what I want to say, Frank.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of interesting viewpoints. And I like the part where you say it's not the country. It's not the people.
Absolutely not. It's not the country. It has nothing to do with the country. This country is the best, has the best laws, has 3 branches of government, checks and balances. Not too many countries have this. A few European countries, and that's it. You know, other countries are dictatorships, like China, a communist country. They shoot you first and ask questions later. So it's just these bad people who have somehow managed to have so much power, but they're not going to be able to hold on to it forever. It's going to come to an end.
Oh, yes, it is. Most definitely. And it will be interesting to see how law enforcement, or actually the judiciary system, pardon me, I just lost my tongue somewhere, will figure out how to punish somebody that has done this.
You know, about the punishment, my personal opinion, I'm not for revenge, you know,
Right.
because these people are in the hands of devil now. He is ruling them, you know, as soon as the devil has such an ability. He's a master of tricking people to make sins. You know, I know because he tricked me many times, but I finally beat him on the major issues. He still comes to me with, you know, if I know I'm not supposed to eat this, but I still eat, you know, stuff like that, seducing a person. And it's real. The devil is real. The whole history of human history is about fight about good and evil. So the devil has a spell on these people. They are in his possession. The perps and the money bags and the instigators. You know, they think that they are smart and they are doing what they want to do. But deep in their heart, they understand that they are not doing the right thing. And how I was able to beat the devil, I was before he told me to do something, not literally told me, but you know, some bad things I want to do. So I asked God a question: should I do it or should I not? What would be the consequences? You know, and if somebody doesn't believe in God, he should ask the mother and father, like perps. They should ask their mothers and fathers, should I torture this person in the morning when I wake up every day? I going to torture these people. Should I do it? Ask your mother and father if you don't believe in God. That's how you beat him. And when you beat him, you became a human again. And if you, let's say, you kill 10 people, now you have to save lives of 10 people, then you be even. Because when you come to the judgment day. And I don't want to sound like a religious maniac, you know, because I'm not, religion was made by people. I'm not really a religious person, but I'm a very faithful person to God. I know there is a higher power above us, and we think that we can do anything, you know, the scientists and everything. Most of the things the scientists did destroyed the society. If you look at the history, nuclear invention of nuclear bomb and some other, even the weapons, you know, and now they start cloning. The Chinese clone 2 monkeys, you know, and now they say they can clone a person. And everything we do, which is against the universal law, we're doing it against us. And that's what the perps doing it against themselves, you know. And the punishment, I would not take a revenge of them because they're already in the possession of the devil. So he will take care of them if they don't come back to the human race. So why should I make a sin and kill somebody, be having a revenge, and take a sin on myself, you know? If they come back and fix what they did, I would forgive them, really. Because a person who realizes his mistakes, in my eyes, it's a human being, you know? He came back to the human race, and that's a big achievement. So about the punishment, I don't wish them bad. I just wish them to realize what they're doing and come back to human, to society, and do something good.
I wish him did.
I know you did him that. It's hard. It's very hard to forgive something. But why?
I
You
forgiven
see,
nobody.
Barbara,
You,
listen. What would this achieve if they did? You know, because the others,
I wouldn't get
the
hit anymore.
yeah, but the others are coming like them. You know, it's not doesn't achieve anything. The others, there are many like them. They recruit the others ones. You know, there is so many robots, people who are followers. You tell them something, you know, a lie. The other thing about is lie is a big, big sin. If it's a consequence of you lie, somebody died, you are a murderer, considered a murderer. And
That's okay. I don't mind murdering them at all. I think it would be a plus.
well, it's you have your own opinion. I personally would forgive them, not forgive them, but I wouldn't take a revenge on them.
If I had a choice, if I had a chance to do one of them in, I would. And I would gladly go to jail over it.
Well, if you think about it, you know, a couple of days, I think you would change your opinion because
Maybe,
the anger,
but I don't think so.
Yeah, think it over because the anger is not it's a devil stuff. The devil makes you angry, making bad things. You know.
Now wait a minute. I have a question for you on that.
Okay.
If anger comes from the devil, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the anger comes, yes, from the devil, but he manipulates you. You know, there is a bad beginning in every human and a good beginning in every human. You know, somebody can be brilliant in something, can be a murderer or some big sinner.
Okay, but we are made in the image of God. That's right, right? If we are made in the image of God and we have anger, I mean, it must have a purpose.
No,
No?
God, no, it's a choice. God gave us a choice. We have a free choice. If, like you said, you can kill them or you can not kill them. You know, it's your choice. God didn't tell you to kill him or did not kill him. He gives you a choice.
But you have the emotion anger for a reason. You must have a reason for it.
Yeah, but
otherwise we wouldn't have it.
We have it, but there is a limit to anger. It's to be angry at somebody. You know, you can do when you're angry, you can just walk away to a tree and hit the tree or something. You know, because after you hit him, you can go to jail. When you hit the tree, you're going to be a little have pain in your fist. That's all. You know. But I'm not that. I'm not a spokesman for a God. I just telling you what in my opinion, which is
that's
revenge.
fine. I respect it. I totally respect it, and very interested in your viewpoint. I just think that we have anger for a reason, and it's the only thing that kept me going for 24 years. Is my anger against the people who developed this program, who initiated this program, who carries out this program, who abuses this program. I have a lot of anger against these people. They've done a tremendous amount of damage to my life, and they haven't finished yet.
Well, they actually, by doing all these things to you and to me, to others, they are so deep in devil's hands. So when all major religions believe in reincarnation, so they can come back as animals, as dogs and cats and rats, you know, and that's how they going to be in the next life, you know. But this is a philosophical, religious discussion, which I'm not ready to discuss. For myself, I read books about it and I understand what it is, you know. But these people are so deep. They have. It's very hard for them to get out of this, but it's possible. All they have to do, like I did, is before they do wake up in the morning and go and I'm going to torture Alex or Barbara or somebody else or do this and that. Ask your mother and father if you don't believe in God, or ask the God. Or if you believe in God, ask God. So they do it. You know, the only way you can beat devil. Devil is beatable. I beat him on many issues, my own devilish issues, which I have.
I read something about reincarnation, and it was a quote by Gandhi. And Gandhi said that Hitler was the reincarnation of Shiva, and Shiva was the goddess of death and drinker of blood. And he said that Hitler had drunk a lot of blood.
I don't know. This information is absolutely, in my opinion, which I know, absolutely not correct about this Hitler reincarnation. You know,
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Because
he didn't say. He said that Hitler was the reincarnation of Shiva. So, in other words, reincarnation to him was a personality type.
About reincarnation, it's I'm not going to lecture anybody or share my knowledge about this now, because you have to, if you're interested, there is many books you can read, and something, my sources that I know, it's not from the books. It comes from the oral wisdom from some people, you know. So this is not just simple that Gandhi said. Gandhi is was a very smart man, but I don't think he had access to and knowledge for incarnation. You know, there is we have five senses, and there is a purpose we have five senses that God limited our ability to see more. With the five senses, look what we did in the world. We almost destroyed ourselves. So I read somebody that from the beginning, from Adam till now, there were the statistics that it was like 110 billion people in modern time. So,
Frank, we got an echo.
hello?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead,
Hello?
Alex. What were you saying? You've got an echo on your line.
Me?
No, the woman.
Oh.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, probably because they don't like me talking to people. I don't have a smartphone. I have an old cell phone. Sorry.
Alex was talking.
Hey,
Why
Vanessa.
don't you finish what you were saying, Alex?
Somebody else is talking, right?
Yeah, my name is Melissa. Yeah.
Hello, Melissa.
Hi. I'm with you on that one. I read a lot of Joseph Campbell, who I thought was great about writing about the religions and, you know, the philosophies of religions. But I had a quick question for Frank.
Sure.
I would like to go to D.C. in May, and I don't know how to get information from you to join you guys, if that's possible.
Okay, I didn't know we were going yet. I'm glad you.
Are you going, or?
I don't have any plans to, because I got left out cold by the whole community.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, this is Vanetta. I gave her the misinformation, Frank, because I wasn't updated. So I did ask Melissa to call in.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I apologize.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah, I was just ready to go and join some people.
Yeah,
You
I would have started preparing as soon as the last one was over. But like I say, I didn't get any kind of help whatsoever.
Okay.
None. I did it all myself.
What is your next move for audio spotlight, Frank?
Gonna hit all the malls.
When are you gonna start that?
As soon as it warms up a little bit. You don't want to slip and fall and drop that thing, you know what I mean? It's February still.
It's true.
Well, you'll keep us all informed, right? Where you're gonna be?
Definitely. Yeah.
Good.
I hope the next place you're going to be is in Arlington. I'm still waiting for the library to call me back.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be the first thing we do. And from there, we'll plan everything else.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to weigh in on the anger issue.
Sure. Go ahead.
Because I'm with Barbara in that there's definitely a purpose to it because even God has a righteous anger. And I believe there is a righteous anger, a good anger, and an unrighteous anger.
I agree.
Yeah, it sounded like somebody was talking at the same time, so I wasn't sure what they were saying. But in other words, the righteous anger can be used for good. You know, it's the kind of anger that when we hear a child, is molested or mistreated or abused, it's a righteous anger that gets angry at whoever's doing that. And in our case, I believe TIs are due a righteous anger. But and the unrighteous anger can be used for, it is the wrong kind, the kind that the perps have because they believe the lies. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I think humor is the best thing to, go against them, to keep a good sense of humor. Because they want us to feel angry, I think.
They get off on it.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Agreed.
We had.
I think that they have to have you angry in order to have something to rationalize their behavior against. Like I was in a really good mood and I wasn't. I was crying and they didn't want me crying because it was so severe. They wanted me to be angry so that they could fight against me. That's what I think. They fight against you anyway.
Would somebody
So,
like?
Frank,
Yes.
can we ask you a question
Yes, sir.
about that test, MRI test for the brains? Once, I think you told me that there is a test which shows different than a regular MRI. I don't remember you or Derek said that on the air, but I didn't write down.
Oh, I've had like 3 of them now. I think I have pick up the results of the third one, and it's a CT. It's a CT scan, CAT scan, CT.
Okay.
And what they do is they take the brain and they take a picture of it, but they take a picture in slices, so that they can see like a thousandth of an inch or maybe a little more, depending upon what they're looking for. So they'll be able to pick up something that is in your head. If there's some type of small wire, nanowire,
But these nanochips are synthetic. I don't think they would be able to
Well, they'll
pick
pick
it
up.
up.
It actually will pick up objects, and
Hmm.
it's going to pick up just about everything in your head, including all of the, we'll say, clogged arteries or clogging arteries, all of the plaque buildup. Where is that echo coming from? All right, I'm going to mute the room, guys, and just unmute *6. Those of you who want to speak. Those of you who aren't speaking, stay muted. Okay, so that was a very interesting viewpoint that Alex has. And so we have an definitely opposing view by Barbara. Then we have the interjection of don't get angry. Well, I'm stuck in the middle somewhere, and I say that we have all been chosen for this. And so I don't get angry about it. I just don't. I keep a positive attitude and I let it roll off as best I can. And that's the answer. And that equates with what the other young lady had to say, and that was laughter. So laughter equates with a positive attitude. Anger equates with vengeance. But if you look at vengeance, if it's not vengeance, it wouldn't be vengeance. It would be justice. That's what I would call it. In the highest realm. But what you have to say is, who are you to make that choice? That's the big thing. But looking at everyone in 20 years, for some 22, 25, I mean, those are years stolen from you. So it's theft of your life. If you look at your life, they say a third of your time is spent sleeping. Well, in my case, they don't really bother me too much while I'm sleeping. So the second I wake up, bang, it starts. Let the games begin. So all the hours you're awake are actually stolen from you. You can't even use the bathroom without having your privacy invaded. You can't use the shower. You can't use anything. So your privacy is taken away from you. And that's part of the Constitution of the United States. There are so many constitutional values that this has taken away. You might as well say they've taken the whole Constitution from us. I mean, some of the latter amendments don't apply, but for the most part, they have leveraged your rights away from you.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you try and keep a positive attitude, at least we can go through this short time that's left with it, and come out on the other end, and we'll have one hell of a big party nationwide. We'll all meet in one place and celebrate. That's what's going to happen. Because it can't go on like this. It can't be inflicted upon children and grandchildren. And what's going to happen is, see, the older generation has a lot of accumulated knowledge. Okay, some of the younger people will say 15, 20 or something like that, 21. They don't have that life experience. That's what the government doesn't like. They don't like the fact that you know a lot of things. And that's true. I mean, the older generation knows a lot of things that the younger generation doesn't. So what they want to do is cultivate, if you'll pardon the word, the younger generation so that they can be instructed. So the ways of the Constitution can actually be forgotten.
That's true.
I had a quick question again, Frank.
Sure.
How do you ask them for the CT scan, or how do you ask them if they can look for like a chip or an implant? How do you go about that without sounding crazy?
Just say you're getting continuing headaches. That'll do it.
Okay.
And just say they're pinpoint headaches. And they'll ask you where. And, just pick up a spot like, we'll say, above your temple, something that would involve, the scanning of your whole head, not just like the front or something like that. All right, caller number 2, you have got some audio issues. So just tell them that you've got chronic headaches and they're all in one spot, and just tell them that aneurysms run in your family, God forbid. And just tell them that. Don't say anything at all about targeted or anything like that. Nothing. If you bring that up, they'll just throw you in the bin. So
Thank you.
Certainly. But I will tell you what that uncovered in my situation. It uncovered a grain of rice sized chip in the upper part of my sinuses, because I had a sinuplasty in 2007 or 2008, I can't remember. And it was quite visible. Now it took a CT scan to find it. So it's apparently tissue is growing around it that is somehow hiding it, because it's harder to find. Kevin, get a grip on that, will you? Thanks. So does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Frank, I want to ask you about that test. You said that they uncovered that something.
Yes.
Did you have a disc? You have a copy of the disc as
Yes,
an evidence?
Yes, I do.
So there's a very significant evidence.
Yes, it is. I just got to I have to get somebody to go after it now. So I've.
Yeah, I know. No lawyer will get these cases unless you have millions and millions of dollars.
No, I mean to have it taken out. To have it taken out. So, but I did confront the doctor who did the operation, and he called the police as soon as he saw me. So what I did was I went to the police station. He called it after I left. I didn't even really say anything to him. I said, "Yeah, hi, Dr. Hill. How you doing? Blah, 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 blah." And I really didn't say anything. And he called the police afterwards, and he said that I was threatening him or something like that. But at the same time that the call came in, I was at the police station. So, so the policeman said, "Are you Frank Allen?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Frank Allen." And so I had a conversation with them, which I can't relay at this particular point in time.
Yeah. Well, as I was talking about that class action lawsuit, in my opinion, it's far-fetched because, as I said, I had two fake responses twice that I am registered, and I know that it's a fake one. So, do you know somebody like who has knowledge in law if individual can file a lawsuit by himself?
Okay, this might not be a good idea unless you know that you can win. Now, there's a landmark case in terms of being targeted where the gentleman actually went after the President of the United States. He won. They settled, I believe, out of court, and he will not say a word. Do you believe that? But I can get the case out, and you can review the case if you like. But once you go before a judge and will say you win $100,000, we'll say, and a class action suit goes forward, you can't participate in that class action suit.
Yeah, I know. You can only a personal or a class action, one of them.
Yeah.
But as I have a lot of evidence, of course, if I would have money to hire a lawyer, he would be able to do something. Yeah.
There's a book. Yeah. You can buy it, or
Excuse
you can
me
go
briefly.
to the library.
Yes, I'm listening.
And it's called Pro Say S-E. And it will show you.
Speak slowly. Pro
dash, space S-E. Pro Say it's called. And it will show you step by step how to do a court case by yourself. What you need to do, the language you need, how to get all your ducks in a row, blah, 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 blah.
Because I
have that book, and I bought it from Barnes & Noble. You can go to like Barnes & Noble bookstore. I can't remember how much I paid for it. I think it was $20.
Okay.
And it tells you all about a court case and how to, because I brought my perps to court years ago. And make sure that everything that you send them, you duplicate, and make sure everything you send them is you request a signature back.
Okay. So how did you do with that lawsuit?
Well, what happened was 2 weeks before court, I got hit in the head with a laser. It came through my window and left a divot in my forehead, and it burnt my forehead. And then everywhere I went after that, I was hit by lasers. It may have been pointers, but I wasn't going to stand there and find out. But I know that the one that hit me in the forehead burnt, and it burnt for about 5 years afterwards. I could still feel the pain in that area if you pressed it. So when I went to court and I started my spiel, and it went very well for the first couple of paragraphs, and then I mentioned the laser incident, and when the judge heard the word laser, he shut the case down, and it was continued without a finding, meaning I could reopen it if I wanted to.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to file on my own, but I don't think that class action lawsuits is something which is for real. I'm going to go out of the country for a while, maybe for 6 months, and we'll see what happens.
Where
Why
are you
don't
going,
you
Alex?
see if you can talk to Catherine Horton? She's a pretty smart TI in Switzerland if you get there, and ask her, because she's initiated several court cases herself for other targets.
Well, I'm going to go to Latvia. I was a student there, so I lived there for a while. So I have my cousin lives there, so I'm going to go there for a while, for a couple months, maybe 5-6 months.
Well, see if
Australia,
you
you said?
can get in touch with Catherine Horton in
She's from
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
She's in Switzerland, but she travels all over Europe. And she's on YouTube. She's done a lot of videos. She's a target. She's a scientist. She went to Oxford. She's
Wow.
brilliant. She might be able to help you.
Well, really, if deep down, if they leave me alone, I wouldn't even file any lawsuits, because you can't. They are so powerful. You can't fight them on your own. You need a really big organization, and to collide with other civil rights movements. Like, for example, now these kids from Florida, they're going to go a couple days to Washington, a march. So somebody in TI community could join them, but of course they will be not talking about our issue. But you need to fight this by law. You need a big organization with. On your own, I just say that I do have evidence, but I'm not going to be able to sue anyone. And not that I don't even want to sue them. I just want them to leave me alone, but they're not going to leave me alone.
No.
I know that.
Where are you from, Alex?
I'm from, I was born in Soviet Union.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever
And how
go
long
on
has this been? I'm sorry.
Did you ever go on to YouTube and listen to Decipher You? Susie Dawson is now in exile in Russia, in Moscow. Do you know about her?
No, I don't. You see, anybody who, if the foreign country accepts you, they have their own interest,
Right.
They're not going to accept me because I don't know anything which is any secrets, but they accept people like Snowden and who knows something. And, it's more for me, it's like a community, if for so long, but the leaders of the community, like Ella and Derek and others, they probably know more about these class action lawsuits, which maybe they're not talking about. So the only way we can beat them on law is with all together in a class action lawsuit. But and protect ourselves with the available technology, And in my case, I just gonna try to move away for a while.
Well, I hope it stops for a while. I wish mine had stopped.
Yeah, I know people who they say they moved to other countries and it's happening to them because probably they have an international cooperation about this program, I would think.
I went to Ireland and they asked me to leave. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was wondering about Iceland. I know that they're really anti, electronic harassment, and I had read about that they're pretty adamant about not having this. So I don't know if anyone's been there or if they know of anyone. there, but I've heard they're pretty on top of not letting this happen there.
It's a very small country, there, Iceland. I don't even know if they have 1 million people. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. And the nature is very nice over there. I saw the National Geography. A beautiful country.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
I went to Ireland and they asked me to leave.
Really?
Yeah, because they didn't want my perps over there.
Wow.
My perps followed me, so they told me to leave. I had Interpol take my picture.
What did you say, Bob? What happened?
Interpol took my picture.
When you went to Ireland?
Yeah, when I went to Ireland, you have to understand this was right after 9/11, so it was pretty early on, and they asked me to leave because they didn't want my perps there, and so I left. I went to the airport, and I got there. I was planning on staying a week, but I only stayed a day, and then when I went to the airport, I was there all night because my plane wasn't leaving till the morning. And this guy came over, and he was obviously a cop, and he set his camera up and his laptop and took my picture. And I went over to him and I said, "What'd you take my picture for?" I said, "Are you a cop?" "Yeah." Why'd you take my picture?" And he wouldn't answer me, but I knew he was Interpol.
Not a cop, he's a Secret Service man. I
Right.
want to ask if anybody wrote Freedom of Information to NSA and FBI, and if anybody got any answers with them.
I thought about doing that. I called them once just for humor purposes to see what they would say to me. And they told me that that was classified information on a need-to-know basis when I asked them about, illegal surveillance. And, yeah, they told me it was need-to-know. So, but, yeah, I was curious about if anyone wrote them, if anyone got back on that.
Yeah. Alex, I think Derek wrote them, and he got a similar, sorry about the noise. I can't move away from my coffee maker. Derek got a similar answer, something like the lady just said about, I don't know, some general response, and they wouldn't tell him anything.
So if it's a freedom of information, don't they have to respond by law?
Well, no, because he was asking, I think, about himself, and they don't in certain circumstances if a target or an individual is considered, maybe a risk.
You have to structure your question in a specific way. Otherwise, they can just ignore it. And now, I know that some of the TIs, some of the TIs have gotten on the calls, and I think Ella is having Mind Justice come on her call. Was it last night, maybe? And Freedom of Information Act, you have to be very specific about who. You can't just write in and say, "Oh, my name is Barbara Gillette. I want all the information on it," because they're gonna.
No,
they're gonna say,
wrote.
"Well,
you know what they asked them?
You gotta go to certain departments, certain information." Go ahead.
They don't have to tell you if you are an individual that they suspect of anything, i.e., a target.
They will respond to you. I've written the FBI since 2012. And that's before I knew about you guys. And what happened was, I learned, and after that, I drove to Rhode Island to the FBI in Providence. And I spoke with them, and they said, well, you don't have enough evidence to do anything. And I've written, and the only time you will get anything back is if you are asking for your own personal records.
Frank, that's what I asked them. I asked them for
Yeah.
my own records, and I asked them, why am I on the terrorist list and no-fly list? That
Yeah.
was my question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the no-fly list?
I asked them why, because if I'm on the terrorist list, automatically you are non-fly list.
Oh.
Derek was asking about himself, and he got a canned automated response, and they didn't tell him anything.
Well, they can
I'm
speak.
still waiting.
They can speak 3 or 4 paragraphs and not say anything. That's the way they are.
Yeah. But at least, if at least any answer is, at least you have some evidence that they respond. But if they don't respond, that is why they have this program of freedom of information. I think by law they should supposed to respond.
Did they respond to you, Alex? No?
Not yet, no.
When did you send it in?
It's a couple weeks ago.
I think they have a certain time limit on it.
So I'll wait. What can I do?
Yeah. What did you send that certified, Alex?
I sent by email and I sent by fax. I have the copy of that they received the fax. And I'm planning now to send a certified letter.
There you go.
Good. Return receipt requested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, everything which we send is the best thing to do is certified return receipt. Then it's an evidence,
Well, every time you pick up the phone and call them, it goes in your file. Every time you send anything, it goes in your file. So I probably have a file about 9 inches thick by now. I've done a lot of writing, and there's been a lot of writing campaigns in the past. And the writing campaign should continue, but we have to move forward in other directions as well. And that we are, actually.
Yeah, but that thing with the Hagen,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be producing anything. But the fact that they allowed to ask the question,
Yeah.
and it will be good to have a record of his answers. If they be able to
Transcript.
to record it or somehow.
Oh, they are going to if they're allowed to bring anything into the room. They may not be allowed to bring smartphones into the room because some of them in the past have been known to explode. So they may not allow that.
Wow.
So it remains to be seen. Today, that hurt an individual. It didn't hurt a crowd. But I guess it burned up the side of his head, his ear. But that was a defective battery.
Frank, is this being held in a forum or an auditorium or a bookstore?
North Florida University.
Oh, it's going to be in the university, so it's going to be in an auditorium.
Yeah, I would say.
The TV probably will tape it and have a record of it.
Yes.
Yeah, but they can have probably an audio copy, you know.
I'm sure you can get a copy of it if you mail directly to him. You'll probably get a copy.
I saw him many times on TV. He's a fox. He's not. He's somebody who is slicky, and he's not going to answer anything.
Right.
He has
I
a
agree.
lot of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I wish them all the best. And like I say, it's another place where we have appeared.
You know what I want to say about PIs who are afraid to give their names and phone numbers, and that's, to me, it doesn't make any sense, because they know about us more than we know about ourselves sometimes. I want to tell them, if they are passive TIs, but they have skills, specialists in software, computers, programmers, they can reach with the flyers. Let's say I have flyers I given up by hand. I can reach hundreds of people, but they can reach millions of people with with flyer if they are skilled. You know, if they may choose a flyer, you know, and they have these skills how to convey. Because I'm not good with the computers, but to those TIs who are knowledgeable and they are passive, they're not talking on radio or something, but they have skills, they could do a lot of good stuff with the flyers, distribution of flyers over the internet, which can reach millions of people.
Yeah, I just opened somebody's link, and I'm just perusing some of the pictures that I'm looking at.
Oh, speaking of pictures, how do you get a picture from inside Yahoo to Facebook?
You click on the picture, save it, and then post it on Facebook.
How do you post it on Facebook? You open your page and then just drag and drop?
There's a button you hit that says photos, and it automatically goes to your computer's photo library.
So you save it to your desktop?
No, save it to photos.
Okay. All right. I think I got it.
I can share these, Gina, if you want. If you don't want, that's fine. I understand. Yeah, she's got hundreds of photos of
What? Oh,
her
what?
skin, burns.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have some also photos of my skin, stuff like burnt skin and other stuff. And I have most of it. I collected pictures of the food robots, and many of them I know by name because they were found by name. I know what the names are. You know, these stackers.
Oh,
who were
okay.
stacking. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately. I don't know.
Yeah, these, I won't call them interesting. I will call them really devastating looking photos.
Yeah.
Now, you are free of, I can't ask her because she's not, yeah, she's still with us. All right, Gina, if you want to unmute and speak, you can. I was just curious if you've been to the doctor and gotten some kind of diagnosis as to what they think these are. Okay, she must be away from her computer. Let me see if I can unmute her. Yeah, she's muted. She's away from her computer. She just asked me to see if the link worked, and it sure does. I'd love to share these with you, and I can too, just by hitting a button, but I have to have her permission because they are really graphic.
Frank, I'm going to leave, and I wish you all the best, Barbara, everybody.
Okay,
You too, Alex. Nice talking to you, dear.
God bless,
Okay.
Alex. Have a good night.
Have a good trip.
Yeah.
When are you
Thank you.
leaving?
I don't know yet. I'm just planning.
Well, let us know.
Okay. Good night.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.
All right. Where is I was up brewing a pot of coffee. Did I miss where he's going?
Latvia.
Latvia?
Latvia.
So that's his homeland then.
No, I think he's from Russia. But he has some friends in Latvia, and he's going there to visit, I think. That's
Isn't
what he
Latvia
said.
part of one of the republics?
Yeah. Used to be part of Russia.
Wow.
What?
Well, I'm still scrolling.
Frank, can you hear me?
Yes.
Gina.
Yeah, I was wondering whether you wanted me to share these or not.
Yes, please share 'em. I mean, it's documentation, right?
All right. I'll turn on screen sharing right now. Let me get up to the top first. How many computers we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we got 6 computers, and you guys can relay what you're seeing to the crowd. Okay, you should be able to. Let me scroll up to the top.
Oh my God. They look like some of the ones I've had.
Let me get up to the top. All right.
Yep.
I'll just go very slowly.
Yeah, wow. Yep.
Now this must
I've got
be
some of those too.
what she's taken a picture of. A
What
couple
is
of.
it?
I have no idea.
Which one is it, Frank?
It's the one with the sailboat.
Yeah, that's just something I had in there.
All right.
I have a lot of skin issues, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And I get swelling around my head. I don't know if you came across that one yet.
Now, what's that? What's this issue here? On are you guys picking all this stuff up?
Yeah.
I don't see nothing, Frank. Just the chat.
Oh, okay. Well, you should be able. You should see the screen.
Who is this? Whose burns are these?
Those are Gina's.
Okay, well, are they ulcers? Gina, have you been to a doctor? Does he call them foot ulcers or leg ulcers?
Holy cow!
I've gotten every diagnosis you can think of. My latest one was psoriatic arthritis, which it took 4 dermatologists to figure that out, which I probably could have, but you know how they can arrange diseases.
Yeah, I know, because I'm going in for surgery for my what they've done to me. I've got a leg ulcer that won't heal, and they've got it. I have to have an angioplasty.
Where?
And I got a lot of
My leg and my ankle to open up the arteries.
Okay, now this area here, that is your
Foot, looks like, right?
right.
I mean, my
Go ahead, Melinda.
Jesus. Now, do these things heal? What happens with them? How old are they? Is this recent?
It's progressed, honey. It can. This has been over the years, but I've got hundreds more like
Oh
that.
my God.
You know, I've got videos, Frank,
Yeah.
of these little round cylinder things coming out of these lesions that you get. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still painful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm on pain pills because I can't move. It hurts so much.
Yeah.
Do you collect the little brown cylinders? Can you touch them and hold them?
No, but what I was going to tell you, yeah, I've been able to touch them. I've tried to collect them, but lately I'm from house to house. I've lost everything. But I got about 15 SD cards full of stuff. I'm not real good at writing. I did do the survey, but I tried to send them photos. I don't really know for sure if they got them or not.
Yeah, I was gonna write her. I've got some stuff too. I wanted to send her, and I just want to know if it's necessary. You know. Oh, look now, the bruise. What is that bruise?
Oh,
I mean,
bruising? What are these lines here?
Yeah, did you see the bruising where it looks like pinpoints?
Yeah.
Yeah.
what kind of bruising? It looks that looks like trauma. That looks like a trauma.
Yeah.
In other words, that you hit your leg on a table leg or something. They'll do that to me. They'll guide my knee or my shin to a corner of a table, and I'll have a huge thing that's very slow to heal. And the bottom of your foot, it looks like, man, it looks like they're giving you ulcers. Because are you diabetic?
No, they're trying to say it's psoriasis, but last time I went to my rheumatologist, I showed her a recent picture of a burn all the way up my arm, and she goes, "Oh, that's not psoriasis." She was going to send me to another dermatologist. I'm like, nothing you're doing is helping. I have to be my own physician. I'm not taking their dangerous.
I wish you could get to some place like, although they're in on it, the Cleveland Clinic. They're just very good.
I'm trying to get a functional medicine doctor right now, but it's hard. I've got military insurance, but it's hard to get one to accept your insurance because I think they would help me more than anything. I mean, I'm taking a lot of stuff, and I've noticed a little bit of improvement. You know.
Well, now, do you bandage these? Because they bandage. My source never see the air except for when it's changing the bandage.
No, I don't get them quite as bad as that, Melinda, as I used to, but I feel like I got this film on me, and I feel like I got layers on. I was talking to Connie today.
Now, what's that on your finger?
I don't know. I can't see it, Frank.
Okay.
Looks like a little black pimple. Oh, Jesus. This, I just, wow.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare, guys. I mean, and I know I'm not the only one suffering this. There's so many.
Now, when you go to the doctors, do you ask? You see these open cuts on your heels. Those can go into ulcers and be very dangerous. There is a medicine. There is a medicine that if you wrap it, I've got a tube of it. I'll have to look for it.
Some of that colloidal silver. It's a gel that you put in the fridge to help me. And I do the salt baths. I do the Borax baths. In the beginning is where they hit me the hardest. I mean, I was just like a walking wound, you know. And I still get it. I've been talking to Connie a lot from Connecticut.
Yeah. She's
got a lot of great ideas. But this is just hideous, what they do to people. And sometimes you don't know if it's the weapons or the biologicals or, you know what I'm saying? I'm really surprised I'm still here sometimes, for real.
Do you feel it's a laser burn or a microwave burn or chemical? What do you feel that's going on here?
Honey, I've gotten so many different things. It's unreal. I've even had parts of my skin that looks green. Now that was more in the beginning. It's like I'm in a different phase or something.
Well, you know, if you ever see anything that looks a little black or greenish blacks, you go to the doctor immediately. Immediately.
And Melinda, they can morph this stuff. If you see the pictures with like something in a bowl, that was me doing my grape juice test for Morgellons. That's the stuff that came out of me with grape juice.
I'm not getting any pictures right now, so I don't know. Are they done?
Do you want me to turn them back on? I can.
I went to several dermatologists. They told me it was me. I was doing it to myself.
Well, you tell them you know people, and if they want to see my pictures, they're welcome to. Don't tell them it's you. People don't break out like this unless it's maybe an autoimmune something, but they look like different syndromes. In other words, they all don't look like they're coming from the same problem.
No, they're not, honey. That's a combination of all kinds of different things.
This is why we practice right now. We say, I worship you. I love you. I am grateful for you. And because...
Well, who's that?
Any given time. You can be fine 1 minute, and the next minute you got a limb swelling up and it's got lumps all over it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just worry about your feet because, you know, it can go into gangrene, and you really have to take care of those ulcers, those cuts in the skin.
Well, I've been going to a doctor for that. She said they look better, but it's really painful to walk on my feet, and I'm still...
I mean, my feet are bandaged. I don't know why you're not being bandaged. Let me get the name of that stuff. Hold on 1 second.
You know, Frank, I'm still pending disability from 2011. I'm not able to work like that. I'm just not. I can't take the heat. I can't take tight clothing. I don't like shoes. You know what I mean?
I can see why you wouldn't like shoes.
You know, they said, my attorney said there was 3 ways they could have, plus I've had a full hysterectomy since the targeting started. I've had my gallbladder removed. I had a
right now. So
tumor removed from my chest wall, and they will not give me so serious.
Those demons are coming up right now, whether you like it or not.
Tyler, hold on a second.
Your fears about women will absolutely be...
Wow.
You know, Frank, I kind of made myself look at these pictures because it's kind of like exposure therapy. It didn't freak me out as much after seeing it so many times because it used to hit me when I would look at my pictures. You know, the psychological thing.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to keep my pictures, and I've had a lot of them stolen. But
Gina. Gina.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, honey.
Hi. Listen, do you have a pencil, pen, and paper?
Yeah. And Melinda, I've had biopsies. I've had skin patch tests. I'm not allergic to nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ask them if silver. See, you don't want to get any infections. Silver sulfadiazine. SULFA sulfa. One word. DIAZINE. Cream.
I got some right here.
Oh, okay. So you got the antibacterial, antibiotic. Okay. The next one is Santyl. It's very expensive. SANTYL. Just ask them if they think that would help drying them up. If you have one that does not go away quickly, Santyl. It's prescription, so ask them. Remember, you know, ask them about the Santyl.
Thank you.
Boy, I'm looking at these and I'm just thinking, do they ooze? Are they wet?
Oh, I'm at a different stage now. I still get them, but it's like it's a little different.
Marie is the macrocosmic expression of the axis mundi, of our central...
What is that talk? What is he talking about? to break in like that? What is that?
You know, Frank? Frank?
Did he go
Yeah.
get coffee?
No, I brewed it. I didn't get it yet.
You know how I know that all of this isn't coming from inside my body is my doctor, which has fired me because I caught her in a mistake, sent me to this special dermatologist. He was real expensive and he was out of my network area. Well, he told me that what my problem was, a lot of my problem was stress, and it was all bubbling to the surface. And he put me on this Otesla. I'm not taking anything that works as my DNA. I just won't do it. But he put me on this Otesla, and I was supposed to come back and see him because he could tell I was in pain. But he says all your stress is bubbling to the surface.
No, it's oxidative stress, yes, of course, but that's not the cause of it.
No, it's not, honey. I know what the cause is, but I go home, and no longer I sit down at home, I get a 2-inch blister just pop up on my abdomen. And that was them sending me a message, you know. They were saying, yes, your stress is bubbling to the surface, so they gave me a blister. And it wasn't no little blister, it was huge. It was 2 inches long.
Wow.
And I just felt pain there. I put my hand down there, my hand was soaked from the blister. And this was right after this doctor told me that. So I know they cause a lot of this. I think there's stuff in my body that they have been putting in everybody, and they can make it worse. They can activate. You know, I don't know how they choose to do what they choose, who they choose to do it on.
It's all algorithms. I have figured out that they have done an algorithm on me. They gave me diabetes. Then they want the algorithm, which is they'll feed in a lot of things about me, and then they'll come out with something that could happen to me. And listen, if I was not in this program, I would not. The only issues I would have would be smoking. You know, cut down, cut it out. It's not doing you any good kind of thing. But they have wrecked from my feet, and I had a hysterectomy. They give me a 9-centimeter tumor in 2 weeks. Isn't that terrific? So that's a total hysterectomy, and the doctor didn't do it right, so I'm maimed. And my hand, they come in and my tools, so I cut my hand, almost cut my finger off. The face, forget it. And the teeth, forget it.
Hello?
And what? So it's the algorithms that do it.
Yeah.
And I just, the karma of these people, I don't even want to talk about their black karma. The programmers, all these people who create these hideous torturers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
I mean, you talking about it, how we both had to have those hysterectomies, and I was having a little meltdown on Neil's call, and how it was your right ovary, my right ovary. Both had
I can't hear you, sweetheart. I can't hear you. You're blocking out there, messing with your phone.
Hello?
Yeah, maybe. I'll talk to you about it some other time.
Okay.
Thank you, Frank.
Certainly. Tyler, did you have something you wanted to say?
I'm just trying to test my mic. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Would you like to speak?
I would just like to say that it feels like they're blocking my neurological activity. It feels like my brain's being squeezed. I wonder if there's anything I can do about that.
Well, that's what's called stepping on your head. Are you having trouble thinking?
Yes.
It'll pass.
Okay.
What is that?
They
Is this
actually,
weapon?
yes. What they actually do is they focus on an area in your frontal cortex, and they actually short it out, if you will, so that they can't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And the end result is you lose a thought or you lose an idea. And it's not very pleasant. It happens to me every now and then.
Yes, it feels like, or when I'm talking to someone, like even right now, you can probably tell I lose thoughts. I can hardly put sentences together. It's very frustrating.
I imagine it is. If you can't put, I haven't gotten to that point. How many years for you?
5 years.
Okay. Well, it's working on 7 for me, 6.5. So
I wear a copper mesh helmet. I've made a helmet out of copper mesh.
How long have you done? How long have you been wearing that?
About probably about 5 months. It seems to be working a little bit.
Make sure you're not getting the placebo effect, because that's sort of like an antenna.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because you're encompassing the entire top of your head with it. You say it's helping though.
Well, I would think it would have the opposite effect rather than an antenna, because it would collect the electromagnetic activity, right?
Yeah, but there's
entering my skull.
Millimeter waves. I mean, they just go around it. I mean, you might catch a few of them, but if you have a Faraday cage and you have a slight crack in it, that's all you need, and they're in. It's been proven. And air in and air out of the Faraday cage has to be in S shapes, so that the air, the incoming air makes it, but the signal doesn't.
Yeah. I fucking hate these bastards.
Yeah.
I fucking hate these fucking cowards, man.
I know. I agree. Thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
There was a guest on Ella's show maybe, I don't know, a month or 2 ago, and he riveted neodymium all over a helmet, and he put that on.
I have neodymium magnets, and I put them on my chest.
He put them around his head with that inside and outside a helmet, like a bike helmet, and he said it worked. I don't know.
I mean, the neodymium magnets have been working for me when I put them on my chest. It's still there, but it seems to like muffle it or dim it a little bit from the rapid heartbeat and the nerves in my heart. But I would like to know scientifically how the magnets protect against the frequency.
I'm betting, I don't know. I use neodymium power pads a lot for different areas, depending on what I need it for. And I've noticed that the positive, which is the only side you're supposed to have facing the body, it changes the energy field. That's all I know. It changes the field. I can feel it.
Okay, yeah. I can feel it too. It makes sense.
It works for you? No, everybody, well, for electronic targeting, the head is the area you have to work on.
Yeah, Frank, this is not for electronic. Definitely, I get the external direct, energy hits to my body. That's where I use it. Yeah, I don't know about the electronic.
Now, are you saying laser?
Laser and the radiation, and something else that acts like it's ozone, and then there's another something else that has an odorant that smells like it's a chemical.
Okay, because I mean radiation, even uranium is actually a radio wave. It's just a leak. All right, Tyler, when you get your sound situation squared away, you can unmute yourself again. But why don't you unmute when you're going to speak? That way there won't be any external noise at all. Okay, go, continue. Who was last speaking, who got interrupted? Can you increase your volume? Because we
Your mic's too low. Sir, your mic's too low, sir.
I'll take care of that. Thank you. Yeah, try and either call in again or get a better connection. Yeah, you need to call back in, sir, because we're not hearing you at all. You're like 20 miles away. Yeah, we can't hear you. Call in again. Okay, sir, can you call in again? All right, you think about it. I'm going to mute you, all right? Because we can't hear you. All right. So I guess what I will say is, in encountering what I've seen of Gina's pictures, I would say that is like incredible. And she says, Gina, you say it's gotten better. What have you done physically, medically to get this better? Because it looks like toxic. It's almost toxic.
That's what I've been doing, is detoxing, Frank.
No, I mean it looks toxic. I mean, it looks like serious skin problem.
Well, they can hit me with a frequency, Frank, and I've tested this enough because I've had this for a long time.
Yeah.
And they can actually morph. They can hit me with the energy or whatever they're hitting me with, and it will cause my body part to, like, almost morph. They'll swell to where you can't even recognize it. And then when they're done having their way with me, then they'll go back down to normal.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, when this first started happening, when it became a BERT, it was just overwhelming. I couldn't hardly handle it, so I was trying everything, iodine, all kinds of stuff. One time I put iodine on my hand, and it took a good year and a half for that to even heal. I had so much stuff coming out of my hand, it wasn't even funny.
Now, what did the medical profession say?
They can't find nothing wrong with my blood work. They're not looking, Frank. They're just not looking. I don't know if it's because I have military insurance. I don't know what it is. But I did go to a dermatologist once because I was in so much pain and I had a double skin infection. And I've learned different ways to deal with this, you know, different things I cannot do. Like I've had allergy tests, I've had biopsies, I've had skin patch tests, and it just, I don't think my results are. I've even had every heavy metal test. I did test for cadmium.
That probably has a lot to do with it, military insurance. Because I could tell you, being a veteran and having treatment from the Veterans Affairs Office, I believe they've done everything in their power to escalate my targeting, and they probably have chipped me because they put me to sleep, and I've woken up with scars on my back near my spine.
Right.
I was at the mental institution, or the psych ward unit at the Veterans Affairs office, and they drugged me and put me to sleep, and I woke up with like a branding burn on my hand near my wrist, and it was a picture. It was like if you brand somebody and they have a scar. I have a scar. It looks like two people having sex on my hand, and that they burnt that into me.
I believe you. Let me give you
Yeah,
a brief history, Frank. My
the VA is involved in all my targeting too. I won't go to the VA anymore.
Have you tried, like, just anytime I had any infection, ever since I was a little kid, I always lived on the ocean, and I would go to that salt water and just, stay in it,
That's what I do now, Frank. I take salt baths at least 3 or 4 times a week, and it is better on the surface, but it's really integrated into my system. Some of those pictures were very intense times. I have learned to cope with that, but it's almost you get the threshold of pain and it just don't go down. You almost have to deal with it, and it's really isolated me as far as being able. I can't take the heat at all. It gets 10 times worse with heat. But that gentleman that was just talking, I don't know for sure, but when I think my targeting started, was on a military post when my husband was stationed out there at Fort Ord, which is closed now. And we were in a car wreck, and him and my 3-year-old son was killed. And it happened right there on post, and me and my oldest son survived. Well, I was sent, both my youngest and me was sent to Monterey.
Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear about that.
That's all right, honey. Was sent to Monterey Peninsula Hospital, and my older son was left there at the Army Hospital. He had compound fractures in both of his legs. Well, my youngest son died 11 hours later, but I had psychogenic amnesia of the whole incident. I remember bits and pieces. And then they sent me home without a neck brace or anything. I had fractures in my neck. And I ended up having to go to the emergency room there on post because I lived on post. And the CID called me and wanted to question me about the accident. They interrogated me so bad that I had to go to the emergency room and they had to give me Valium. And my parents were there with me, and they went to the general. And I guess that guy got reprimanded, and so I'm wondering if that might be when my targeting started. I'm not positive, but it sounds feasible. But, yeah, my son's targeted too, so.
I'm sorry to hear about that. My heart goes out to you because I've been targeted for 5 years, but I think they're going to kill me pretty soon.
Well, I thought so too, honey. You just hang in there. You hang in there. My car wreck at Fort Ord was in 91. That was in 91 around Desert Shield, and it had turned into Desert Storm. It's about the same time that happened. But, yeah, it's not real fun to share the pictures, Frank. It's just, you've been this so long, you put your story out there somehow. And
how old is your son? You said.
What, honey?
Go ahead.
You said you're targeting your son. How old is your son? Or how long is he, or what age was he when they started targeting him?
9.
Wow.
He was 9 when the car wreck happened. He was telling me he was seeing vehicles following him before I even knew I was targeting. I thought he was just around some bad company. I didn't believe him.
How old was he?
Wow.
When he started telling me about that, he was about 17 or 18. And they've diagnosed him with schizophrenia. He hears voices, and, you know, I didn't know nothing about it, so mine became overt around 2008. So they've been watching me for a while regardless. I know they have. And I think they look at the military sometimes as their property, you know?
Yeah, I've really never seen anything quite like that. Those are really bad. It's like you got toxemia or something. You're toxic.
And it'll grow, honey. It'll grow when I'm getting hit with energy. It'll grow. It's like if you ever listen to Dr. Staninger, they can hit things in your body like this nanotechnology or the plastics and make them expand.
Well, is edema associated with this?
Oh, yes, big time.
So,
if you look at the one in my head, I'll get large lumps in my head, but after a while they'll go down. I've had these large lumps all through my head for years, and everybody, you know, it's like somebody took a baseball bat to my head and I got a ooey knot or something, and they're very painful. And a lot of that is associated with Morgellons, I think. But,
yeah, what shape is your heart in?
What shape is my what?
How is your heart?
My heart?
Yeah.
According to them, I'm fine. I did just have this flu. My sister called an ambulance because my blood pressure was high with this chemtrail flu going around. But it seems to be normal. But, you know, my stats are always normal when I go to the doctor. The vitals always normal. I got good blood pressure. My heart races a little bit, but when I'm at the doctor, they're never worried about anything, it don't seem.
Well, if you came into my office, I'd be truly worried about it.
You know, Frank, I've showed a couple pictures to doctors, mainly dermatologists, and they looked at me kind of with a shocked look, like I was somehow making these pictures appear or staging them or something.
And you can't stage that.
No, you can't. You can't. And I've got a pattern, you know. I've been doing this for years.
Do you drink a lot of spring water?
No.
You should
I don't drink water from a tap, though, not anymore. I've been kind of switched to distilled. Because I don't trust anything in my environment because I can't control it. Because right now I'm staying with my sister. Before I was staying with a friend. And before that I was staying with my dad because I'd lost all my resources. So but I think there's a lot of mold in the house at my dad's house. But I've also addressed that too. I didn't show any allergens to mold, but that was just a standard test. I think I needed a test for mycoplasmas or mycotoxins, like Patty got. But it's hard to find a doctor unless you get a functional medicine doctor to do those kind of tests. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you like the water you drink? You said it's distilled. Are you talking about like reverse osmosis water that they sell in the stores, or are you talking about the water that's for babies that's actually distilled?
No, this is just distilled water out of the store. I mean, I'll just drink whatever.
A lot of it.
I don't drink soda. You know.
Yeah, try and drink a lot of water, a ton of it.
Okay.
Wash some of that stuff through you.
Yeah. And I've just been trying to detox, Frank. I've started this new intelligent advanced brain formula. I'm taking moringa. I did have a brain scan. That's probably one of those pictures on there. And I got an earring that grew inside my ear that I've been trying to get a doctor to get out. Because
yeah,
it just grew in there, the diamond stud, and it slipped in there. And that's why that MRI is so distorted. But the neurologist just looked at it and says, oh, there's nothing wrong here. How you could get that determination by looking at only half my brain, I don't know. But
yeah, it looks like somebody was trying to take a picture of a picture and got their thumb in the way.
No, that's my MRI.
That
He says
is
that's
it?
from the earring. Yeah, he says that's from the earring that grew inside my ear, the magnetic pull. That's what that was from. That's how the MRI turned out.
Okay. Well, they owe you some. They owe the VA some money then, because that's a really lousy job they did.
That was a private doctor. I just don't see how he got a diagnosis out of that. You know, he put me on magnesium because I went to him for headaches.
Yeah.
Because I broke my jaw in 4 places when I was 17, so I've got surgical wires in my jaw anyway. So I went for headaches because I've had, you know, like 4 or 5 surgeries on my head alone.
So do you think some of this is? Did they say that? Did you have any like major trauma to your head in this accident?
Yeah, they said that neurologist told me I've had 2 TBIs, but there's nothing wrong with me. I've been to a psychologist. He's got me diagnosed with clinical depression. But I think my attitude's pretty good considering.
Yeah, you do very well.
Thank you. But I've seen that doctor for years before I even knew I was a TI, just for depression and anxiety. I used to have really, really bad panic attacks, and I learned to control them without medication because I knew one day I wouldn't have my medication. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And I drink tea, and I listen to pleasing music, and I go on these calls, and I try to lift people up. That's the only thing I can do. I do what I can in the community. I sent a bunch of affidavits and stuff like that. Did the survey, handed out flyers, but I mean, I wish I could do more.
Oh, no, you're doing plenty. Just to share and participate in the call is great.
Yeah. Well, they affect my speech sometimes. I stumble over my words, and so.
That's not unusual at all.
Yeah.
No, not unusual at all.
You're
So
pretty easy to talk to anyway, Frank. You got a compassion to you, for sure.
Well, I don't like seeing all this happening needlessly. You'll have to pardon my chair. It's got a squeak in it. I've been looking for it since I bought it. And it seems like it's a pneumatic computer chair. So it seems like it's right up at the top somewhere. And I've been trying to find it. Everything's tight.
Frank?
Yes, sir.
Last time I was in here, you told me I was telling you the problems I was having about them targeting my heart.
Yeah.
Or the energy of my heart and the frequency of my heart, or the nerves in there. And you recommended that I go to a doctor or a specialist about it. But I think that it started, my heart started being targeted, and my whole nervous system started being targeted at a higher intensity after I went to the VA and they took my EEG test results. After they conducted an EEG on me. And you know, that's the way they facilitate the brain mapping, and they map out the neural resonance of your, you know, everybody has a unique electromagnetic or neurological resonance, like everybody has their own unique fingerprint, you know. So that's how they do it, and they're able to mount the radio frequency attacks fine-tuned to each individual by that method, by taking their EEG. So I'm really weary of going to any specialist or any doctor who's going to take my EEG.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. When all is said and done, we'll know exactly what's going on, but we're closing in, all of us, on exactly what it is. And unfortunately, I haven't run into anything that was drive-by or directed by laser or anything like that to produce burns. And I hope I never do, but I'm trying to, in my mind, rule out all of the other things that it could be. And that's why I ask. See, what they do is they try to keep most people away from doctors. They don't want you going to the medical profession. They want you to stay away. So that's why I always encourage, TIs to go to your doctors, go to the hospital. And, if one doctor isn't producing a result, go to another one. But don't rule out the whole medical profession because of one bad doc, like I had one bad doc. And so don't rule them out. So Gina apparently does not have any kind of solid or otherwise diagnosis as to exactly what it is. And she's apparently gotten better, it looks like, with homeopathic methods. So it'd be interesting. She's taking salt baths now. I guess that's helping.
Yeah, Epsom salt. Epsom salt is good. I take colloidal silver. It's really helped me out. Also, I take this CBD oil, this hemp oil, and that's done very well to help restore my nervous system, replenish the cells. But although I was going to say about your comment about recommending to keep going back to the medical, I would say that's good advice, but also you should remember to recommend to stay away from the field of psychiatry and psychology, because their aim is to prescribe destructive psychotropic drugs that increase the targeting, that help shrink the brain and affect the nervous system. The psychotropic drugs for schizophrenia and whatnot, when most TIs aren't schizophrenic, as you know. So,
well, I don't believe any of them are. Yeah, it's my theory that a third of us are in state hospitals, a third of us are on the streets and on these calls working every day, and the other third are tucked away in remote locations without computers. They just have telephones. That's why we can't get all of us together. We can get this third together, though. The third that has computers and telephones, smartphones, so that you can get on the net and look this stuff up and be aware of it. Awareness is the closest thing to stopping this thing. We got to start grabbing every facet of information and recording it, which is what I do. And correlating the information, I find that neural or RNM, remote neural monitoring, is the same everywhere. There are no changes. Everybody has the same exact complaints, verbatim. As far as drive-bys and stuff like that, they're probably a little different depending upon whatever they're using. And I've never been exposed to that particular type of targeting, so I hope I never do. But I need all the information I can get on it, and then we can start zeroing in on some handheld weapons. Because I do have a couple of patents that say handheld right on them. So I don't know where they came from, or if they can be built, if they're very simple or very complex. The RNM, I think, we've just about got figured out in terms of how it exists. You're located by satellite, such as you would be with Google, and the attacks come from ground-based radar, which is a lot different than I thought. Ground-based radar can exist on a small pole along with
the Gwen towers, right? The cell towers.
Well, the Gwyn's actually reverse. That's the group of towers that is the twin to the Russian, I want to say, Duska towers. All of this stuff is reproduced all over the world. I think it's all the related number one powers are getting ready for the other side to start using them. And, that could be part of this too. I did read a publication that said that the United States is the only country that doesn't protect its people from this type of torture. But since then, I've seen Russian people. The Russians know all about it, by the way. There's no secrets there. They know just what
they're all working for the same team. If you look back in the Bolshevik Revolution, the brown shirts, the Citizens on Brigade, the gulags, you got to look who was funding that, and it traces back to the New World Order, financial elite billionaires, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, so the Rothschilds, and then you look at East Germany, the Stasi, the Zersetzung, and what they were doing, and who was funding that. So it all, if you follow the money trail back, it's all the same people who are funding all of these operations. The Nazis, Project Paperclip.
Yeah, that was 1953. It's when it all started. Over here, anyway. But yeah, would anybody like to speak or add something to that? Or come up with their own story or their own targeting?
I'd like to ask a question.
Sure.
Please.
Yeah.
This is Tracy from Colorado. Hey, guys.
Hi, Trace.
Hey. I wanted to ask if anybody has maybe experienced this in their targeting, or if any of the women have, or mine is a lot to do with, I think, woman trafficking and abuse. And I think there's a whole probably deeper underground to it, and they're doing more underneath the surface in really dark, ways regarding women. And so I'm dealing with a lot of male abuse, including from my neighbors that are with female partners. And I had someone move in the back that's from another country and is really, really pouring it on at me violently, 24/7. I can't even tell you how incredible the violence is and the hatred. And I'm thinking that I've had bragging about ISIS involvement, but most of it has been geared towards women abuse and trafficking and sexual type of stuff. And I'm wondering if anybody else has dealt with that or how they did, just dealing with the constant like humiliation tactics. And you know, I know women get really bad stuff as far as, you know, done to them. I know men do too, but I mean, does anybody has experienced that
You know
too,
they're
or?
watching you, right? Right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You know that if you
Yeah.
print something out, something that you want to say to them, and you say pin it to a lampshade or your shirt or something, that in the pictures they take you, they'll see this and they'll read it. That you can, yeah. Well, if they're taking pictures of you and they're like my perps pop in and out, they take a picture to find out where I am, and then they pop back out, and I can see them do it.
Well, if you're reading it, they're seeing it.
Well,
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
reading it, but I just pin it to my shirt, or like I have a lamp right next to my chair. And I went to Spencer's and they had this great big fist with the finger up, and I wrote across it Nazi. It's a car, makes a car smell good. That's what it's for. But I put it on my lampshade next to where I sit.
Mm-hmm.
I had one in the back of my backpack, a little cloth one that I bought years ago, and they ripped it off my backpack. They don't like it, but too bad. But I get my message across to them. If they're particularly horrendous or doing horrible things, I'll tape it to my window as they drive by. They got to read it.
Well, I know that they're trying to get me to do stuff in front of the TV. And I don't know if they're filming these things and charging money, or, you know, like when the women are taking baths, because sometimes I'll turn my light off when I'm drying off, or I'll close my eyes because I'm thinking they can see me through my eyes in the bathtub or in the shower and making all these gross comments. So, and I'm kind of do it on the level I feel like I'm safe to do it at that day. So do you mean like, you're putting the signs so that you're just basically telling them, you know, F you, or
right? You can do that. You can call them a monster. You can tell them you're sick. You're a sicko. You can write anything that you want.
Okay.
You don't have to write it, Barb.
I usually.
Yeah, all you gotta do is think it.
I not really. I usually type it up on my computer and then I'll print it out, and I'll print it in big black letters, and I'll put it where I sit or in the window, or, you know, because I know that they're popping in and out, taking pictures of where I am, and I want this to be in the picture.
If you type it,
and
they know it.
No, they don't.
Oh.
No, they don't. Not all the time. Maybe sometimes, but not all the time. I want it to be there physically in their face.
That's a manifested thought.
What's
So
a manifested thought? What the
when
hell
you-
does that mean?
When you type it out, and you post it somewhere, that's just simply a manifested thought. There was a period in my targeting where I was having responses to the thoughts I was thinking, and it was happening over and over and over, where I would just be looking at something and I would have a derogatory, malevolent comment in my sound off in my auditory cortex based on what I was looking at. And that happened over and over and over.
But they can set you up like this. They can make you think that they're reading your mind all the time, or they're even reading your mind. They can drop triggers into your head with thoughts. Okay, go over here, look at the refrigerator, make a thought about it. It's a white little refrigerator, and you know, they can put that in your head. See, a lot of targets, to me, this is what I believe, a lot of targets think that perps follow them everywhere. And I have been in certain situations where the perps have been waiting for me and I walked into a situation, a stalking situation. It's not that they were following me. It's this that I walked in. It's easier to control me than it is, and easier to set them up than it is for them to follow me and then set it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be the case.
And I've also had them, that convince me I know they can read your mind. Don't get me wrong on that. I agree with that. But I've only had that done in certain circumstances, not all the time. Most of the time, they'll trigger me. They'll put a thought in my head, and then I'll go there and, it'll seem like they're reading my mind, but they're just setting me up. And they do this all the time. And Eleanor White, who is an older targeter than I am, has also always warns people about this, that a lot of the things that they do are tricks. People will think, well, they're doing this to me, but they're not. And you know what I mean? I don't mean to set you off or say that what you're going through isn't true. I'm just trying to say that look at it with a jaundiced eye, like, is this a setup, or could this be real, or are they really reading my mind, or just making me walk into a situation where they've set it up?
Right.
I don't mean
Yeah,
to
I guess
discredit you at all.
No. You're completely 100% right with what you're saying. But it's just that when they have the capacity to have their voices sound off in your auditory cortex or in your cochlea, it's not that leads somebody to the assumption that they can do much more, that they can do like supernatural things. You see, so.
Well, they can put any voice in your head just using a trigger. They just take, like, for instance, okay, think of Audio Spotlight. Now, Audio Spotlight, you can put any voice, any sound in that you want. They used to wake me up in the morning to the ping of a baseball hitting a metal bat, and they would amplify the sound. That was my wake-up call for a long time.
Yeah, they used to have gunshots, really loud gunshots, like right outside my window, and I would look out and there'd be nothing out there. It was amazing.
What you have to remember is too where they get their information. Okay, and how?
I still have sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say that, like for 6.5 years, they're right with you every day, so they get to learn your habits. And they get to learn how you act when you're on the computer, how you act here, how you act there. So some of the mind reading might be pieces, and the rest of it is habit. The way you make your coffee, the way you walk, the way you drive. All these different things they've seen a million times now.
Hey, you guys, I wanted to just continue to ask something if I could.
Sure.
Okay, so I understand what Barb's maybe saying about, like, pin something up so that it ruins their pictures. Where I'm from, there's a very large amount of woman abuse, rape, kidnapping, stalking from where I'm from. So, and right now I'm getting tortured because they're saying they're not listening to you, we hate you, and I try not to listen as much as I can, but mine has been really bad because I'm pursuing stalking charges against them. So, as far as
we're listening to you, and what you're saying is very valuable. Our heart goes out to you. Don't listen to them.
Thank you, because I don't want to start crying because they're trying to horrify me and say nobody's listening to you and they're never going to hear you. So
our heart goes out to you. Do not listen to them. But
just realize one thing: they're listening, and you can make your point across to them. Just tell them what you think of them.
They're saying, and they've been torturing me all day long. They're doing this. And
Why would you listen to them? Why would you believe them? Why wouldn't you put music on or start singing opera or put on country music? Put on something you know they'll hate.
Barbara, let her talk. God.
I do all of that. I do all of that every day. But I'm getting so attacked from every single angle because I am fighting and I'm pursuing this, and they don't want me. I mean, a lot of people could go to jail because of this. A lot of people that have already been there have already been convicted for crimes against women, whether it's law enforcement or men that are doing this. And I'm not the only woman from that place that has been treated like this. So I'm trying to, I listen to stuff. I've been listening for hours with that targeting frequency on my head. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm getting pounded from all the males from all 3 apartments, including the one from the back, like I said. So I'm doing everything I can, and I'm listening on here, and they're trying to take, I mean, they're frying my head. They're frying me between the legs, anally my breasts. They're doing all this stuff. I don't mean to be gross, but I'm just getting overwhelmed. And so I'm doing all that I know that I can to refuel and take care of myself. And they're saying, we're not listening to you, and they're not going to listen to you. Nobody's ever going to hear you. And I've seen this happen to other women before. Some of them have shot themselves.
You live near the woods?
Not anymore, no. I live in the city. And they're trying to blame me for all this stuff or say that I'm a horrible abuser, and I know that that's not true, and dump it all on me. So no, but that's what I used to do. But that was one of the goals of one of the men I went with for 8 years ago, who's mainly the one doing this, to get me out of the mountains where I used to live. And now I'm in the city, and the mountains are right there, but I don't have a car. I need to get a car. They're trying to sabotage me financially. I'm just getting dumped because this person could go to jail if I pursue. So I'm getting dumped.
There's 2 things about what you're talking about that kind of bothers me. Number 1, why in heaven's name would you even listen to them? And number 2,
it's not that easy.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
Yeah,
it's not that simple because it's
had
also accompanied with a frequency that's entraining her subconscious. You have to remember that.
Yeah, Tyler's right.
This is 8 years with me, 8 years,
Yeah.
and only a little over a year of Voice to Skull. And
why would you believe anything they say?
Barb, it's not that easy.
No, it's not.
Listen, I've had V2K. I know what it's like.
It doesn't sound
I
like
know how hypnotizing it is.
Well, sympathize.
Well, you're always telling me, Frank, that you're ignoring them. What's the matter with me saying it?
I do it in a much different way. I have a very strong mind.
Yeah. Give me a break.
Give me a break. Oh.
Yeah. What makes you think you got a stronger mind than me?
Let's not get into this, okay?
Tracy?
Barbara,
Yeah.
simmer down.
Listen. There's a woman that needs our help right now, and I don't think you're helping her
Thank you.
by doing this.
Doing
really,
what?
It's
telling
very
her to
hard.
ignore them?
I'm going through it too, and I feel for her, and we need to listen to her.
You need to ignore these people, these crazy people.
Tracy, speak, please. I'm very familiar with her case. If she wants to. Go ahead, speak.
This is good.
I do. This has been a lot of 8 years and just over a year of Voice to Skull, and I do pretty well with it most of the time. Except the last, few days have been really bad because I'm fighting and pursuing, and so I do that most of the time, and I use all the stuff. I need to get magnets and a grounding strip, but I'm doing most of the stuff, the frequencies, and I have Dave Case CD and all this stuff, and so it's hard not to hear it sometimes, especially when you're just getting really pounded from every single area. So I just, wondered if anybody had dealt with that level of woman abuse before, or, you know, what I'm pretty much by myself, and I'm not trying to, you know.
Well,
I don't know.
everybody's targeting is different. And mine is the opposite. My main gang stalker in V2K voice is a woman, and she demoralizes me, demeans me as a man, and just totally. There's always a woman voice having sex, like pornographic sounds while I'm trying to sleep, and laughing, calling me a loser, calling me a faggot. So it's the complete opposite for me. So.
Tracy? I think it all depends on who you are, because they, I think, psychologically analyze you, you know, and try to tear you down.
Yeah.
From what I noticed.
Yeah, for stuff that's just unbelievable. But I know I am not, you know, and trying to say that I'm abusing them when I'm fighting back or I'm cussing mad, I'm abusing them. And this is the scapegoating that's going on.
Turn everything on.
Sorry.
Tracy?
Going through that.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Does Frank have contact information, or do you have contact information? I don't want you to put it out on the line, but does Frank have contact information on you?
I think I can text it to him and you can get it from him if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay. Okay, and what is your name?
HC.
How do you spell it?
2 letters. H as in hotel. C as in California.
Oh, HC. Okay, got it. All right. And the guy, as I'm sitting here talking, he's the one that just moved in from Iraq or Iran. And I reported the violence. And he's over there right now kicking. And he's got 2 little kids over there. And he's over there banging and slamming and kicking the wall. I mean, violent all day. Because they're getting, not only am I getting abused, they are in their home because of him. And I turned him in. So he also is doing that. But that was going on before. So he is, I don't know, ISIS ties or whatever the hell's going on. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Doing it right now.
I got to tell you one thing. You got to man up, because the alternative is not pretty. And at first, I used to take a shower and know that they were watching me, and it used to really piss me off. And you know something? I got used to it, and I totally ignored it, and they went away.
Yeah, I have, Barb. I really have. You know, I'm pretty tough for by myself with a bunch of
You
men.
don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
Yeah. Today, right now, I'm not doing so good, so I'm calling for support, and I do pretty good by myself the rest of the time. So, but anyway, so HC, okay, yeah, that would be great. I'd love to talk.
I've been there, done that. You can ask these guys. I've called into the show crying and screaming before.
I usually don't, but right now I'm kind of overwhelmed. So.
All right.
That's understandable.
Do you think I can go grab a cup of coffee here without everybody getting out of hand?
No, Frank, we're all gonna go crazy while you're gone.
All right,
no, Frank.
No.
Don't do it.
It's all brewed.
So I'm sorry.
You can't leave.
I'm sorry. HC, you said your name is? The gal from Colorado?
No, Tracy.
Tracy? Is it okay if I give you my phone number if you ever want to call me? My name's Melissa.
Okay.
And, you know, if you ever get overwhelmed or anything, you're more than welcome to call me. And my area code's 775.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
357.
Okay.
4882.
Melissa, where are you from?
Thank you.
Where am I from? Originally, or where am I living now?
You talk like a valley girl.
Oh, I'm originally from California, of course. This is
You
where it all
bet.
started. I got the, you know, I think I got the fancy, their fancy neural monitoring thing. I have it 24/7, nonstop. So,
You
but
talk like a Valley girl.
yeah, yeah. So I try to keep a good sense of humor about it, you know, try to mock them as much as I can, you know. That's about the only thing I can do, but it's been very hard a lot of times. It can be really overwhelming, for sure. For sure.
The most tragic thing that they've done to me is they've ruined my ability to connect my energies with a natural frequency of the earth. It seems like when I try to start eating healthy, eating vegan, taking my supplements, trying to meditate, trying to raise my vibrations, I moved to the beach. I moved to Myrtle Beach here in South Carolina, and I was trying to sun gaze every morning. I was trying to just raise what I call my spirituality, and that's when they started attacking me the hardest that I've ever been attacked when I lived there. So I had to move out of there. I had to move away from Myrtle Beach. And so now I'm just in a position in my life where my energies aren't my own.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, for sure. And where do you live now?
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. My mother forced me into a residential care home facility where they forced me to take psychotropic Seroquel for schizophrenia. And you know,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't. I don't want to say this, but it seems like my mother might be complicit with the targeting, because I try to tell her to research beyond mainstream sources of information and to research the shadow governments and this agenda and this program, and she just seems like she has some type of cognitive dissonance, or just totally ignores it and says, "Well, are you taking your medicine? And do you need to go back into the psych ward?" and stuff like that. It's just very frustrating.
How
yeah,
old
well,
are you?
I think a lot of people. Sorry.
How old are you?
I think
This is really scary. I'm 33 years old, and I think my targeting is from me doing and saying things that put me on the wrong side of the Freemasons, and I believe someone in my life is a part of that organization, and that's where my targeting started. The more that I thought about it, this is a recent realization, but I constantly look everywhere and I see the number 33 everywhere now. So I think they're trying to tell me that they're going to kill me this year.
Oh, they
do
tell
that.
everybody
Sorry.
that. Ignore
They
it.
do that to me too. They do 333 all the time to me
Tell
too.
them to go pound sand.
They can, they can actually project images if you are implanted or however they do it, like with the voice to skull. They can actually project things out of your eye.
Yeah, they do that to me when I'm trying to go to sleep every night before when I take. I don't know if it's the medicine that I take or what, but they put like dancing evil demonic clowns and stuff like that.
Well, at least they have some sort of a sense of humor.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's actually what they put into my optical cortex is those type of images of like.
I just used to get fractals. How boring is that?
So are they putting it in your eye, or are they putting the image in your brain? Because like when I close my eyes, they run all these images through my head.
Yeah. I've never got any open eye visuals. That's something I've never got. They've never distorted the reality of what my eyes see. I've never had that happen. But when I close my eyes, that's a different story. I mean, they put that's when they do it, like on the back of my eyelids or in my mind's eye.
Yeah, they've had shows for me And I noticed it's like having to have a backdrop, so it'll be like against a tree, or it has to be something where it can hit, for a backdrop. But yeah, they stopped doing that with me when I realized what they were up to, because it's actual like live, like images of people. So at first I thought it was people, to make me look crazy and go outside and be like, what are you doing in my backyard, kind of thing, But yeah, they did that to me for a while, and then when I ended up laughing and telling them thanks for the free show, they stopped with the picture show with me. So yeah, they stopped.
Yeah, they used to do fractals with me when I'd go to sleep, and just they'd use my eyelids as like a screen, a movie theater. I used to think of it as a movie theater, and they used to do the fractals, and then it's hypnotizing, and I would go right to sleep, and I never dreamed. All the dreams I had were their dreams, and I was thinking about this one day. Why can't I dream normal dreams? Why am I dreaming all this bullshit that they're putting in my head? And I think I figured it out, is that the frequency that they use to manipulate these movies, I'll call them, into your head is stronger than your natural propensity for a dream. So it overrides it. This is what I think I figured out. I can't prove it, but I think that that's what happens, is that the frequencies that they use are stronger than your natural frequencies, so they override everything. Any comments on that?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, I get I never have my own dreams anymore, and they put particular dreams in, and then when I wake up, they ask me, what did you dream about? To see like how it affected me, or if it worked, or
I'd like to add something. When two computers on a network link up, is what's called a handshake. In other words, hello, I'm this computer, you're that computer, we're linking up. So what they do with your brain is sort of the same thing, only it takes a long, long, long time to do it. And they have to find your wavelength exactly. They have to subliminally try and talk to you so that you get more familiar with their voice than they do yours, which is impossible, but they try. But that's sort of what it is. Okay, we have to end. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was going to just say one short thing. I don't think that they have to be, this is my opinion again, Frank. I don't think that they have to be quite so precise with your brain frequency. I think that if they can get within a certain parameter and still have the same effect. Because I've been standing with my daughter and had a pulse come through her and then hit me, and we both had the same exact thought at the same time, and we both realized it looking at each other, and then we turned and looked where the pulse came from.
Yeah, but you're talking about a weapon that's being pointed at you. I'm talking about something. What are you talking about? I'm talking about something that is locating you by satellite and attacking you by ground-based radar or radio waves. You are talking about drive-by with weapons. So you're the equivalent of what you're talking about is a drive-by shooting.
Well, I think a lot more people are being are being targeted, or not necessarily targeted, but influenced by this technology than we realize. Because there's something, I researched something called silent subliminal sound.
Silent sounds, yep.
And,
It just says.
and what they do is they entrain the subconscious or suggest the thoughts. And just look at how many people in the society are unwilling to question authority or think outside the box. You know, so that's my guess, is that a lot more people are being influenced by this technology. It's just the targeted individuals are the ones that have been singled out for intensity.
For awareness. They are unaware and we are aware, and I think that's the big difference. But I do think you're correct that other people are influenced by this, because I've had screaming fights with non-targets, and they were manipulated just as I was. So, and they supposedly weren't a target.
Yeah, I think they've subliminally put things into my husband's mind sometimes.
Oh yeah, no problem with that. I mean, I was having a fight with my daughter. We were screaming at each other at the top of our lungs, and as I was saying the words, I knew they were scripted and I couldn't stop. That's how controlling these devices are. And I was like, I know this is bullshit. I'm not angry at her. I'm not screaming at her. You know, and I had to go through with it. It's just so compelling. That's why I tell everybody this is going to be a totalitarian state, because these devices are so extremely controlling. They can control anybody with these devices.
You know, the future is not looking good, and especially when you consider the magnetron, you know, how many thousands or millions of watts capacity. It's not for transferring data with these Gwyn towers, these cell towers. It's not the microwave capacity of these things is not for transferring data. So, I mean, it could wipe out all life within like a 15-mile radius, all organic life. And, you know, so, I mean, there's no need for nuclear weapons or anything. All they have to do is, you know, a microwave holocaust. And when you look at the Georgia Guidestone, commandment number 1, reduce the Earth population within 15 million. And there's 7 billion people on Earth. So, I don't know what they're preparing for.
Well, do you read any? Do you have access to a laptop?
I'm on a laptop, yes.
Okay, go Google NSSM 200 Henry Kissinger and read the population file that he wrote back in the 70s, and this is what they're going through at this point. And if you read that, I think you'll understand this population control attitude that we see now is in that file.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm texting.
And so, I'm sorry. The fellow that's in South Carolina, you said?
Yes, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, the capital.
Okay. I'm in Georgia, and I keep looking for people who are fairly close by.
Okay, who is this?
I'm Melissa.
Who is this? What's your name?
My name's Melissa.
Melissa? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm in Ellijay, Georgia. I'm close by the Tennessee border. But yeah, I was hoping to like meet up with people, you know, that are going through the same thing, and I'm sure that they don't appreciate that, and that would be great.
I think all TIs need to stay connected, and we need to form a network, and we need really, ultimately, our goal should be to find a place that's away from the influence of the frequencies and build like a shielding, a community that has maximum shielding. That would be the ideal goal.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Okay,
Sure.
could you text me your phone number so I can text it to Tracy?
Who?
Tracy?
Mine?
Yeah, didn't you want to speak with her?
Yeah, I gave her my phone number over the line, but I don't have your phone number. Or do I text it to the number that I called?
Yeah, text it to me,
508. Okay, I will. Okay,
I put my phone number in the chat if anybody wants to get my phone number. It's in the chat.
Okay, thank you. It's 508?
Yeah, 857
Okay.
8334.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yeah, text me and I'll get that right over to you.
Okay, so 508-857-8334?
8334, yeah?
Okay, thank you.
All righty, bye now. Okay.
Frank, did you tell him about that area? Where is it? In Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, where it's a dead zone?
Yeah, what I'm learning is, though, it might not be quite as dead as you think. They're restricted cell phone use in there. Now, I'm not sure whether the area is even dampened. No, I have to find out.
Yeah, any damping would be fine.
Yeah. All right, yeah, and
Night, Frank.
good night. Have a good night. We'll catch you later, folks. God bless. God bless all TIs everywhere.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, Frank.
Yep, sure.
Thanks.